The arguments center on whether it follows Prop 4, an initiative that aims to prevent gerrymandering. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has the latest from court today.
The judge in today's hearing previously ruled state lawmakers overstepped by not following an anti-gerrymandering ballot initiative when they drew the most recent congressional map we'd been using in 2021. That map was invalidated by the judge, so now she's considering a new map approved by the legislature, as well as two maps submitted by the plaintiffs of the original lawsuit. Now, the plaintiffs are arguing the legislature's new map is still a gerrymander for Republicans, while the state's defense is arguing they ran partisan bias tests and have the constitutional authority to draw the maps. Arguments are set to continue through tomorrow, and state leaders say the judge needs to have a new congressional map approved and adopted by November 10th. At the Matheson Courthouse in Salt Lake City, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Nicholas Rossi has been transferred to the Central Utah Correctional Facility following his sentencing. Rossi is the man accused of fleeing the country to avoid rape charges here in Utah. He will now serve 5 years to life in prison after being convicted of raping his former girlfriend in Utah County. Rossi says he plans to appeal his sentence. He's expected to be sentenced for a similar charge in Salt Lake County next month. KSL's top national stories. Authorities in New York say dozens of people, including current and former NBA players and coaches, have been arrested in connection with dual sports betting scheme and poker fraud scheme. They allegedly drained tens of millions of dollars from victims and sporting book companies. ABC's Aaron Katersky has more.
Terry Rozier was among players like Shante Porter, who prosecutors said faked an injury and told sports bettors beforehand, like in a particular game when he was playing for the Charlotte Hornets back in March of 2023, that he would be out within 9 minutes, sometime in the first quarter. And the sports bettors then used that information to place $200,000 worth of bets, according to the indictment.
Authorities say the operations were also supported by mafia crime families. In most major sporting leagues, athletes are legally allowed to bet on sports as long as it's not their own sport or league. KSL legal analyst and the co-host of Inside Sources, Greg Skordas, explained why on Utah's Morning News.
You can bet on a particular player. Let's say that the player typically scores 20 points a game. You can bet that he will score more or less than that. Some of these players, and now coach would say before the game, hey, I'm going to take myself out of the game, so you should bet on the under. You should bet that I'm not going to meet my total. And people made a lot of money doing that.
Among those accused are Portland Trail Blazers coach Chauncey Billups and former Cleveland Cavaliers player and coach Damon Jones. We'll talk about this with KSL Sports' Ben Anderson coming up at 1:35, and we have more details posted at kslnewsradio.com. Other national stories KSL is following this hour. President Trump now says the cost of adding a massive ballroom to the White House has jumped to about $300 million, up from the $250 million he originally estimated. ABC's Mary Bruce is in Washington.
A constant stream of dump trucks seen rolling onto the White House grounds to remove debris as backhoes tear down the more than 120-year-old structure. President Trump previously pledged the construction wouldn't touch the existing building.
It won't interfere with the current building. It'll be near it, but not touching it, and pays total respect to the existing building, which I'm the biggest fan of.
But now he says the East Wing had to go.
Built in 1902, the East Wing houses the First Lady's offices and serves as the public visitors' entrance. The Utah-Arizona border is home to the second largest measles outbreak in the U.S. so far this year. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
Short Creek, the tight-knit community with historical ties to polygamy, is made up of Hilldale, Utah, and Colorado City, Arizona. There have been 123 confirmed cases of measles this year between the twin communities. This area also has some of the lowest kindergarten vaccination rates in the country. An analysis from NBC says 21.6% of 5-year-olds in Mojave County, Arizona are unvaccinated, and 20.8% of them in Washington County, Utah are unvaccinated.
43 of the 57 confirmed cases in Utah have been in southwest Utah. New research finds the rate of home births in Utah has risen more than 3% over the last few years. KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly has more.
The rest of the U.S. is seeing less than 2% of in-home births. Utah not only has a large uptick of births at home, but birthing centers are also seeing a big increase in clients. Former midwife and KSL Inside Sources host Holly Richardson says it's a big change from when midwifery was not officially legal here.
20 years ago, we were successful to legalize midwifery in the state of Utah.
Richardson says many women prefer being at home because there is less stress.
There's also fewer complications because you don't start down a process of, for example, I'm going to have an epidural, and then I might need to get Pitocin to enhance my labor, and then I might increase my chances of a C-section. Those don't happen at home because those are not options.
The latest numbers show more than 1,400 women gave birth at home in Utah. Heather Kelly, KSL News Radio.
Time now for First Look Traffic. Good afternoon, Ricky.
Good afternoon, Maria. We have a crash northbound I-15 about 4,500 south, out of traffic on the shoulder, but causing a little bit of slowing. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:05.
If you're ready to buy a home or sell a home and you're worried about the current real estate market because of what you've heard from some of your friends or family, well, we're here to tell you that you really shouldn't be worried because now is a great time to buy and sell with our friends at the Stern Team, powered by Almada Real Estate.
And here's why. Buyers have more options due to increased inventory, which gives them the power to negotiate for repairs, interest rate buy-downs, and closing cost assistance. While at the same time, sellers are still getting top dollar for their homes, with home values that are higher today than ever before. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, the current real estate market presents a win-win opportunity for both buyers and sellers.
But you still do want to make sure that you're working with a team of real estate experts you can trust that can get you some great results. And that's our friends at the Stern Team, powered by Almada Real Estate.
They have helped thousands of Salt Lake City homeowners, and they're ready to help you. To get started, just go to thesternteam.com. That's thesternteam.com, or Google The Stern Team.
I'm Jenny Oaks Baker, and I invite you to Joy to the World.
It was sacred, exquisitely beautiful, and Jenny's talent on the violin is unmatched.
Featuring choirs, dancers, and my children musical group, Family 4. Plus world-renowned mezzo-soprano Angela Brower and celebrated baritone and narrator Preston Yates.
It was just like emotionally stirring. The dancers, the singers, Jenny and her family, just bringing to life the beautiful music.
Experience a Christ-centered Christmas as we proudly support Light the World.
It's so beautiful to see how they use all of their talents to just testify of the Savior.
Get your tickets for Joy to the World, a sacred celebration at jennyoaksbaker.com.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top local story. A judge is hearing arguments today over the new congressional map proposed by the state legislature. This is going to be going on for the next 2 days. KSL News Time, 12:08. UTA is experiencing a mechanical problem with the track system. It's causing a 15 to 20-minute delay on the red line. The blue and green lines still have some residual delays of 10 minutes, though they are getting back on schedule. There's no estimate on when those delays will be fixed. A Utahn is set to become the first woman to compete in a notoriously challenging sailing race. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff reports.
Sunday, Francesca Klapsich and her co-skipper will set off on a transatlantic race from France to the Caribbean. She says there are not a lot of comforts on their boat.
Sometimes I kind of think about it a bit of extreme camping on the ocean, and the comfort is limited. The adventure is massive, and, the experience that we can have on the oceans are really amazing.
She and her co-skipper will take turns sailing the ship while the other person tries to get some rest. If they don't run into bad weather, she expects the trip to take them between 12 and 14 days. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
KSL Sports. Real Salt Lake's playoff run and season came to an abrupt end last night with the 3-1 loss to Portland in the wild card match of the MLS Cup playoffs. RSL has made the playoffs 5 seasons in a row, but this is the 4th straight year they've gone one and done in the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Utah Jazz won their home season opener last night, besting the LA Clippers. KSL Sports anchor Jeremiah Jensen says they started with a solid defense.
7 steals in the first quarter. Walter Clayton Jr., rookie Ace Bailey, his first NBA points. And Utah led 43-19 after 1 quarter. 4 Jazzmen in double figures in the first half alone. Lauri Markkanen had 15 points, 3 3-pointers. And Keontae George finished off the second with a tough finish in the lane at the buzzer. The Jazz were up 31 at the half.
They set a franchise record for points scored on opening night and won 129-108. What a great way to start the season. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. And here's Ricky Meese.
We began the noontime drive with an accident in Murray, northbound I-15, 4500 south. It was always out of traffic on the shoulder, but it did cause a little bit of curiosity slowing in that immediate area. That crash has since cleared, and those slower speeds are starting to clear out pretty quickly now. If you're headed northbound on State Street in Murray, we do have a right lane blocked at about 5900 south due to maintenance on the road in that stretch, not really causing any delay. You've got plenty of room to get around it. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Calling for partly cloudy skies this afternoon and a high of 63. Overnight, mostly clear, 42. Tomorrow, 64, mostly sunny skies. Saturday, mostly cloudy, breezy out of the south, and mild, 70 degrees. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Coming up, a lot of sunshine and 57 degrees. I should say there is a lot of sunshine and 57 degrees right now coming up on midday. A new report shows that education is the key to meeting Utah's future workforce demands. We're going to talk about it with the Kempsey Gardner Policy Institute. That's next. Streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. Sponsored by At Your Service Pros. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. If you've been thinking about doing some remodeling, maybe getting some new doors and windows, do you know what a difference doors and windows can make in your home? They can make it seem so much more modern. And if you're thinking of doing something like this, you will have an amazing transformation with Peach Doors and Windows. This is a locally trusted company. They specialize in windows and doors for luxury homes, remodels, new home builds, and Peach is different. They aren't just selling windows. They are transforming homes to feel brighter, quieter, safer, and more energy efficient. And right now, with the colder weather here, more energy efficient is the way to go. So let them help you update your home so it does feel like $1 million home. You will love their personal customer service. They have over 400 Google 5-star reviews to prove it. So see for yourself what I'm talking about. Visit Peach Windows and Doors or stop by their Salt Lake showroom to see what real window replacement should look like. Also, you can schedule a free home visit. It's easy to schedule at 801-566-1255 or go to peachwindowsanddoors.com and schedule your consultation.
For nearly 70 years, Les Olson IT has been the trusted name for businesses. From state-of-the-art printers and copiers to managed IT services, we have the solutions you need to stay ahead in today's world. And now Les Olson IT is trusted and licensed in Utah for security systems, for technology that helps you work smarter. Les Olson IT, providing solutions that empower your business.
Les Olson IT. You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-300.
You're putting gas
in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BOOST25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BOOST25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BOOST25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
KSL News Time, 12:15. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
a Utah judge has begun hearing arguments on whether she should approve a new congressional map proposed by state lawmakers. Opponents claim it's gerrymandered, while the state says it's not. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, the Utah-Arizona border now has the second largest measles outbreak in the country, with at least 123 confirmed cases between the two. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
A quiet drive on all your Valley freeways, including I-15 both directions between Ogden and Provo. Also, good news in the Mill Creek area and South Salt Lake. All westbound lanes are now open from the earlier water main break, 33rd South between 13th and 1100 East. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Southern Utah showers today, northern Utah showers over the weekend. I'm Matt Johnson.
Sunny and 57 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Here's KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. A bill to pay federal workers during the government shutdown failed in the Senate as Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said the solution is to reopen the government fully. He also spoke about President Trump's demolition of the East Wing of the White House.
The image of Donald Trump adding a wrecking ball to the White House is a symbol for what he is doing to the whole country.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the president is addressing Democratic concerns about health care, a key motivating factor of the shutdown.
When it comes to lowering health care costs, the president is deeply committed to this. It's why he has spent so much time and effort negotiating with Big Pharma to lower the health care costs of prescription drugs.
The president said he will not send federal troops to San Francisco this weekend. After he spoke with the city's mayor, he pardoned the crypto titan known as CZ, Changpeng Zhao, the founder of Binance. He pled guilty to charges that he failed to have proper oversight of the site that allowed criminals to use it. CZ had lobbied the president for the pardon and supported the Trump family's crypto venture. More than 30 people have been arrested in a gambling crackdown, including NBA figures Terry Rozier, a player for the Miami Heat, Portland Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups, and former player and coach Damon Jones. ABC's Chuck Severson has more.
NBA inside info about league athletes and teams was used to attract bettors, says New York City area federal prosecutor Joseph Nocella.
The non-public information included when specific players would be sitting out future games or when they would pull themselves out early for purported injuries or illnesses.
He says using their status as former players, Billups and Jones lured victims to poker games where secret card reading wireless tech helped fleece victims out of hundreds of thousands of bucks per game.
Average 30-year mortgage rates are at their lowest level in more than a year. Freddie Mac says they are currently at 6.19%. You're listening to ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. The new report from the Kempsey Gardner Policy Institute finds that more people getting their degrees will have a major impact on Utah's future workforce. Joining me now live is Andrea Brandley, Senior Education Analyst with the Kempsey Gardner Policy Institute, and thanks for being with me.
Yeah, happy to be here.
So describe for us what your research found as far as how many jobs would require degrees.
Yeah, so looking at projections, we estimate that about 71% of Utah jobs will require post-secondary education by 2031. And this is the 9th highest share nationwide. So Utah's in the top 10 states for needing high educational attainment for our future workforce.
So what does it mean for Utah's economy if we have more degree earners?
Yeah, so I think that has major impacts on our economy. It helps our economy to continue to grow. More people with higher educational attainment tend to also be more innovative and to start more businesses and to help really kind of bring the tides up for everyone. So hopefully if we are able to increase educational attainment, we're able to improve outcomes for both individuals within our state and also for society as a whole.
So in recent years, there's been this push for other types of education like technical schools. So how do they play into this?
Yeah, so this particular research is including all post-secondary education. So it includes the traditional bachelor's degree pathway, but also what we call a middle skills pathway, which is, trade certificates, associate degrees, other business certifications. And I think all of these play a role and can help people be prepared to really contribute to the workforce. And while we see varying degrees of benefits depending on what type of educational attainment one receives, any educational attainment really has been linked to higher earnings, lower poverty, better health outcomes, and greater civic participation, really kind of benefiting that post-secondary education of all types has positive ripple effects for both individuals and communities.
Andrea, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for being with me.
Of course. Thanks so much.
That is Andrea Brandley, the Senior Education Analyst with the Kempsey Gardner Policy Institute. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
Had a report of a small accident in downtown Salt Lake City near West Temple and 2nd South. I can see a portion of that intersection in the traffic cameras, and it looks like traffic's getting through the area. If it was there, it's probably been moved out of the way or cleared. If you're traveling any of the Valley freeways, you're good to go. Seeing a nice drive there. A little bit of road work causing some slowdowns. Pretty typical for Tooele County drivers southbound SR 36 Main Street going from Erda to Tooele. There are 1,000 people homeless who remain unsheltered every night, sleeping in the streets. You can help by helping the Rescue Mission of Salt Lake restore lives. Visit rescuesaltlake.org. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, starting out with some nice weather. Partly cloudy today with a high of 63. More sunshine tomorrow, 64. Saturday, mostly cloudy, breezy out of the south, 70. That's all out ahead of a cold front that'll impact northern Utah Sunday morning. 56 for a high Sunday, scattered showers. Mostly cloudy with a 30% chance for a shower on Monday, down to 54. 57 partly cloudy on Tuesday, and Wednesday back up to 63, mostly clear. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Partly cloudy skies, 57 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. The 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Quick check of the markets. Looks like the markets are trying to take back or make up for some of yesterday's losses. A complete update of your money news is coming up next.
Hello, Utah. I'm Josh with IWC Roofing. For over 25 years, my family has been safeguarding your homes with the finest roofing solutions. We value your time, and we're committed to replacing most roofs in just one day with a peace of mind 50-year shingle warranty. Call us today at 801-232-5690 or visit iwcroofingutah.com. Ask us for the $1,500 off any full roof replacement. Financing available, 801-232-5690. Utah homeowners, look no further than IWC Roofing for a roof that stands the test of time. With 25 years of excellence, IWC is your trusted family-owned roofing expert. At IWC, we offer one-day roof replacements with top-tier quality materials, all with a 50-year shingle warranty. To keep a leaky roof from dampening your day, we're offering $1,500 off a full roof replacement. Get a free estimate. Call 801-232-5690 or visit iwcroofingutah.com. 801-232-5690.
At BMW of Pleasant Grove, we believe that driving should be more than just a commute. It should be an experience. Feel the perfect fusion of performance, technology, and luxury with our stunning lineup of new and certified pre-owned BMWs. From the exhilarating drive of a 3 or 5 Series to the spacious elegance of an X7, experience a transparent and effortless car buying experience. Visit us at bmwofpg.com. BMW of Pleasant Grove. The ultimate driving machine is closer than you think.
Utah Mammoth Hockey is back at Delta Center. Don't miss your chance to be part of the excitement as the Mammoth hit the ice all season long. Grab your friends, rally the family, and lock in your seats for the fast-paced, hard-hitting action. Great seats are available for most games, but they're selling fast. Head to UtahMammoth.com to get your tickets today. That's UtahMammoth.com. Your home for all things Mammoth hockey.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now, the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So, what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan today. 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. See website for details.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, what are you waiting for? Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
KSL News Time, 1225. The head of the National Football League this morning standing by the Super Bowl halftime show. ABC's Laura Spencer reporting.
Commissioner Roger Goodell making it clear that the league is not reconsidering their choice amid recent backlash amongst conservative critics online.
He's one of the leading and most popular entertainers in the world. It's carefully thought through. I would say that I'm not sure we've ever selected an artist where we didn't have some blowback or criticism.
The halftime announcement last month coming weeks after the rapper gave an interview critical of the federal immigration enforcement tactics by the Trump administration.
Earlier this week, Charlie Kirk's organization, Turning Point USA, announced that they will host a halftime show alternative, calling it the All-American Halftime Show. No word on who would perform. Watching Utah's money, work rules while collecting Social Security are changing next year. If you have reached full retirement age of 67, you can work and earn as much as you want. But if you haven't reached that magic age in 2026, you will lose $1 in benefits for every $3 earned over $62,000. While many brick-and-mortar stores are struggling to stay in business, one clothing outlet appears to be booming. Ross Dress for Less just opened 36 new stores across the country, along with 4 D&D discounts. Now, VP of Ross says that they're on track to open 3,000 stores over the next few years. Tesla is recalling nearly 13,000 cars due to a battery pack defect. The U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration issued the recall for 2025 Model 3 and 2026 Model Y vehicles, as the driver could lose acceleration and risk crashing. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow up by 181 points, sitting at 46,771. S&P 500 up by 47 points. The NASDAQ up by more than 1%, up 233 points. It was a meeting hundreds of years in the making. King Charles and Pope Leo were at the Vatican this morning.
For the first time in more than 500 years, a King of England and a Pope praying together. King Charles and Pope Leo in the magnificent Sistine Chapel, bringing the leaders of the Anglican and Catholic churches together in prayer for the first time since England broke with Rome in the 16th century. Charles, alongside his Queen Camilla, there for a show of unity, important to a king who has long promoted interfaith dialogue.
That is ABC's James Longman reporting.
Cooler weather. What a relief, unless you have old drafty windows. Soon the heat will escape through the cracks and your energy bill's going to go through the roof. So now's the time to call Advanced Window Products and get brand new state-of-the-art custom windows and frames at factory direct pricing. The factory is right here in Salt Lake City, where they've been building precision windows since 1986, and you're going to save a lot of money since there's no middleman markup. You save 30, even 40% on your new windows. Even better, call now and they'll give you an extra $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. Double pane argon-filled windows with a low-energy triple coating, any style, any color, and Advanced Windows gives you a lifetime warranty. If you have an issue, they're not 10 states away. They're right here in town, and they offer 0% 60-month financing. So make the call now. Get $2,500 off. 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
Join KSL and NPS KSL on the Movie Show this Friday from 10 to 1 at the Salt Lake NPS store, 1600 Empire Road in Salt Lake City. That's npsstore.com. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
Crash free on all the Valley freeways at this time. Our main secondaries are also looking good. We do have construction delays in Tooele County southbound SR 36 Main Street passing Erda. But overall, kind of a quiet drive in progress right now. Attention Wasatch Front businesses and property managers. Don't wait for bad weather to schedule professional snow service with GoPave Utah. Your complete parking lot safety starts with GoPaveUtah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Look for clearing clouds today with a high of 63. Overnight we'll go to 42, mostly clear. Tomorrow, 64, mostly sunny skies. We bump it up to 70 with a south wind on Saturday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Partly cloudy skies in downtown Salt Lake City, 57 degrees.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon, KSL News Time, 1230. KSL's top story this hour is national news. The Senate has once again voted to reject two bills related to spending and reopening the government. The shutdown is beginning to impact federal workers and military families whose paychecks are delayed. ABC's Jay O'Brien has more.
The Pentagon diverted money in its budget to prevent military families from missing their paychecks earlier this month. But as their next payday approaches, it's unclear if they will get paid this time. This as 42 million low-income Americans relying on the federal food assistance program, SNAP, are now bracing for benefits to run out in just days.
Utah Senator Mike Lee blamed Democrats on X today for blocking the bill to pay the troops, Capitol Police, Border Patrol, air traffic controllers, their own staff, and other federal workers who are going without pay. However, Democrats are insistent they want to open up talks on extending tax credits that are part of the Affordable Care Act. Utahns are not happy about the shutdown. Representative Burgess Owens addressed the closure in a town hall meeting last night and said they are doing what they can to move funds around for those who need it. He pointed to the recent move by President Trump to pay members of the military.
That's why he was able to do some things for the military, find funds to push into the military, why he was able to do things for WIC, for women and for women and children, so they can make sure they're not feeling the pain.
However, he says it won't be long before there is no more money to move around. The government shutdown is also taking its toll on the Great Salt Lake. KSL News Radio's Adam Small explains.
The federal government awarded Utah $50 million last year for projects intended to help the Great Salt Lake and its wetlands. But with the shutdown, the Great Salt Lake Commissioner's Office says they can't coordinate with the government, which is necessary for both planning and getting the money dispersed. KSL.com reports the Commissioner's Office is now moving that deadline for project proposals from tomorrow all the way back to mid-January. This isn't even the first time these funds have hit a roadblock. The Trump administration actually froze them for more than a month earlier this year. Water managers are hoping to get these projects in motion sooner than later, given the lake is currently sitting about 7 feet below healthy levels. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Other national stories KSL is following. Some Washington lawmakers are now raising concerns after more U.S. military attacks on suspected drug-running boats. More from ABC's Rachel Scott.
Democrats insist that these military strikes are a violation of U.S. and international law, and even some Republicans are pressing the White House for more information on their legal justification behind these strikes and just how exactly they're carried out.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth posted a video that he says was the second drug boat attacked in the Pacific by U.S. forces in recent days. Other attacks have taken place in the Caribbean. As beef prices soar, ranchers across the Mountain West say the plan to import beef from Argentina could do more harm than good. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera has more from a Wyoming rancher who says Washington should focus closer to home.
Beef prices have hit record highs, and the administration says importing Argentine beef could help bring them down. But ranchers just north of Utah say that solution misses the point. Wyoming rancher Dana Versamack says if federal money is going overseas, ranchers here deserve the same support.
Well, I guess if they're dishing out money to Argentina, why don't you dish some of that money out to American ranchers who want to expand to feed our own population?
She says ranching costs are climbing fast, from land prices to to equipment, making it harder for new producers to even get started. She says investing in U.S. operations would do more to stabilize beef prices than relying on imports. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
However, Utah's House Speaker is defending President Trump's decision to import beef from Argentina. Mike Schultz is a rancher himself and says this plan is what's best for ranchers and the American people as a whole.
I certainly feel and I understand the concerns inside the ranching community, and as you said, I'm one of those, and certainly this will hurt my bottom line on our ranching operation for a short period of time. But this is good for the consumer, the American citizen, and it's good for the rancher long term.
Schultz tells inside sources that U.S. ranchers are not equipped to deal with the high demand for beef. Drought continues across much of Utah, but it's not as severe as it was, even in the southeastern portion of the state.
2 weeks ago, most of the southeastern corner of Utah was in moderate to severe drought, while now there are parts of San Juan County listed as just abnormally dry.
We've had 2 tropical systems bring moisture across the region, so we had remnants from Tropical Storm Priscilla, and then shortly after that we had remnants from Tropical Storm Raymond.
Aaron Walter with the National Weather Service says even though parts of the Four Corners area saw significant improvement with these 2 storms, more severe drought conditions can return without continued moisture coming into the area. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Meanwhile, state leaders say Utah's investment into cloud seeding is starting to pay off, showing an increase in snowpack and the largest remote-operated seeding program in the world.
The statewide average shows an increase of about 10% after seeding, says Utah Division of Water Resources engineer Jake Sorego. During a board meeting with the Utah Department of Natural Resources, he reported they currently have over 120 remote generators.
This makes us the largest remotely operated program in the world. No one's even close to this number of generators.
Sorego reported they have also started buying drones, making Utah the first in the nation to have an experimental drone program. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Time for First Look Traffic. What's going on, Ricky?
A right lane is blocked northbound on State Street at 5900 South in Murray due to road maintenance. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:35.
Just around the corner, a weekend of fun for the whole family. Beatty Days 2025 in Beatty, Nevada, with a chili cook-off, car show, live music, parade, bed races, contests and games, vendors, and food. Enter a cornhole or horseshoe tournament, or take a guided tour of the ghost town of Rhyolite. It all starts Friday, October 31st with a costume contest for all ages. Stake your claim for fun at Beatty Days 2025 in Beatty, Nevada. Visit BeattyNevada.org.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Thank you for joining us for Midday. Recapping our top story, the recent moisture we've had in Utah has gone a long way in improving the state's drought, even in the southwestern portion of Utah. KSL News Time, 12:37. Enrollment in public schools is down across the state of Utah for the third year in a row, down about 1.4% from last year.
According to the Utah Board of Education, this is not an issue of funding, but an issue of population. The students aren't leaving, according to Director of Data and Statistics of the State Board of Education, Aaron Bruff. Utah families are just having less children. Although numbers are up at charter schools and homeschools, these do not make up the loss of students elsewhere. This issue isn't just unique to Utah. This issue is not unique to Utah, however, as school boards across the country have mirrored similar shifts.
That is KSL News Radio's Cameron Elliott. Utah State University is well on its way to becoming a top site for training future airline pilots. The university recently updated its aviation program to include a Boeing 737 simulation, giving students hands-on experience.
So I think we've taken it to a level that might be unprecedented, but we think it has real meaning and value to their undergraduate degree.
Lead instructor Captain Perry Winder tells KSL TV the expanded program will give students practice for the aviation industry. A plan for a controversial 7-story hotel in Sugar House is moving forward. KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly has details.
After a very long debate last night, the Salt Lake City Planning Commission agreed with a Mill Creek developer that a 90-foot-tall hotel is the best option for where the old Sizzler restaurant once stood. Local residents, along with the Sugar House Community Council, are vehemently opposed to the plan. Other proposed options included multifamily housing and a gas station, but they were nixed. Building Salt Lake reports the company who wants to build the hotel says it will be an upscale operation and operate under the Hilton umbrella. The proposal now moves to City Council for review, where environmental impacts may be considered. Heather Kelly, KSL News Radio.
If the slopes aren't enough of a view, skiers at Powder Mountain will soon be able to admire artwork on their runs.
Powder Mountain Ski Resort is launching a new outdoor art museum this season. The permanent art exhibition will feature works by 11 artists, which will only increase each season. And if you're not a skier, you can see the art installations during the off-season on hiking trails for free. Visitors can check out the artwork when the season starts on December 13th.
That is KSL News Radio's Isabella Sosa. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Ricky Meese.
Freeway traffic rolling along, no accidents or delays. We do have construction causing some of the usual slowdowns in Tooele County southbound SR 36 Main Street, going past Erda on the way to Tooele. And we also have a right lane block due to road maintenance in Murray. This is northbound State Street at 5900 South. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Sunshine with some clouds mixed in today. Look for a high of 63. It'll feel quite nice. 42 overnight. I got a 64 tomorrow. Mostly sunny skies. Saturday, mostly cloudy, breezy out of the south. Consequently, that'll push temperatures to 70 degrees. Looking for a cold front early Sunday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And it's partly cloudy, 57 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. Coming up on Midday, how do culture and religion influence Utah women's perceptions of beauty and body image? We'll hear about it from Utah Women in Leadership Project. That's coming up, streaming live at kslnewsradio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Man, I want to tell people how they can look and feel 10 years younger because it's something you and I already know.
We lost weight with the SOTA weight loss program. I lost 34 pounds, 3 years ago now?
Yeah.
And I do feel younger. I have more energy, all because I worked through this wonderful program, SOTA weight loss.
And I let go of 70 pounds of fat weight over 5 months, and I actually did get comments, you look incredibly younger. It really felt good.
And I love the example I set for my kids to show them, look, we can celebrate things without having to eat stuff that's bad for our bodies.
And what helps is the accountability. And right now, this is the best way to do it. SOTA's bringing back their most popular offer of the season. Join now, and your partner joins for free in the partner program.
So you and your spouse, or you and your best friend, get going with SOTA weight loss.
They're the #1 weight loss company in America for client satisfaction and client results. You can find out by going to their website, sotaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Because SOTA is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
The Social Security Administration just announced they are now projected to run out of money 1 year earlier than expected. Benefits could be cut by as much as 23%, and the average person could lose more than $100,000 in lifetime income. This news could significantly change when you file for Social Security. Discover how you could get every penny out of your benefits with a free Social Security analysis from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. This free, customized analysis could help you get every penny out of Social Security. Call 801-896-9622. That number again, 801-896-9622.
Boss Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the Social Security Administration.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
KSL News Time 1245. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
the rate of home births in Utah has nearly doubled in a 6-year time span. Midwives say it can be much less stressful and less expensive. I'm KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly.
Second, despite pushback from ranchers, Utah's House Speaker is supporting President Trump's plan to import beef, saying Utah can't handle the demand. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
Construction slowdown southbound on SR 36 Main Street in Tooele County. This is going past Erda on the way to Tooele. If you're traveling any of the Valley freeways, though, you are good to go. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A short-lived warming trend and then a cold front. I'm Matt Johnson.
A lot of sunshine downtown, 57 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. As demolition of the east wing of the White House continues to make way for President Trump's new ballroom, that ballroom project will be privately funded. And responding to questions about the speed of the demolition and the sources of funding, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said,
"The president has been incredibly transparent. I would reject any notion otherwise when it comes to this ballroom project. It's something he personally has obviously taken an interest into."
The president pardoned one of crypto's richest men, the Binance founder known as CZ, who pled guilty to charges the company failed to keep criminals from using the platform. Changpeng Zhao has lobbied for a pardon and supports the Trump family's crypto venture. President Trump says he will not send troops to San Francisco this weekend after speaking to the city's mayor. An NBA player, Terry Rozier, and Portland Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups were among more than 30 people arrested in an alleged mafia-backed illegal gambling ring. This is ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. The new report from the Utah Women in Leadership Project shows that social media pressures, family and peer modeling, and religious expectations are contributing to widespread body image issues in Utah. Dr. Susan Madsen, director of the Utah Women in Leadership Project, says the data is scant, but Utah women are among the most interested in cosmetic procedures to keep up.
Even though the procedural data are limited, our state ranks still high in interest in cosmetic procedures. In fact, we still lead the nation in Google searches for breast augmentation and, quote, boob jobs, and are among the top 10 for other procedures. And we rank 10th in terms of the number of surgeons who are available in the state to do cosmetic surgery. So those are a couple of the data points that we have. We wish we had other pure data, but what we know is we may not be the top, we're not sure in terms of the most cosmetic surgery, but we are still in probably the top 10 states. For the most cosmetic surgery, but definitely for searches and interest in plastic surgery and cosmetic surgery.
What does this say about Utah women and body image?
Well, it's interesting because part of the report, we look at pressures for women to look good. And we know across the nation, across the world, more girls from social media, more young women and women are concerned even more than they used to about their looks and body image. So social media is really challenging for girls. In fact, one of the things that was striking that we found is that 96% nationally of girls ages 14 to 19 report cyberbullying about their appearance, and 92% have considered actually making changes, whether it's dieting or exercising or cosmetic procedures. So to me, that's worrisome that we have that, and we don't have exact Utah data on that, but we know that we're in the ballpark of all of these. So that means that over 90% of our young women have been cyberbullied about their appearance, which means they're looking at how they can fix, how they can change.
Dr. Madsen says it's critical for parents, influencers, and communities as a whole to avoid focusing too much on looks. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. What's happening, Ricky?
We do have traffic getting a little crowded and just dipping below the freeway limit on southbound I-15 approaching 7200 south in Midvale. That's a place where the merge from 72nd South can be a little congested any time of day. So just be aware it's a little bogged down at that spot, but no real delays other than that slow spot there on the Valley freeways at this time. If you're going through Tooele County, you do have construction slowing down traffic southbound Main Street, going from Erta towards Tooele, and a right lane blocked northbound State Street in Murray. This is at 5900 South due to road maintenance. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast has us going up and then back down on the roller coaster. Partly cloudy today with a high of 63 degrees. Tomorrow, 64, mostly sunny. We go mostly cloudy, breezy out of the south Saturday with a high of 70. Cold front Sunday, 56 showers. Down to 54, mostly cloudy. 30% chance for a shower there on Monday. Tuesday, 57, partly cloudy. 63 on Wednesday, mostly clear skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Partly cloudy in downtown Salt Lake City and 57 degrees. And the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. A quick check of the markets at this hour, and I'm seeing a lot of positive numbers trying to make up for some of yesterday's losses. Complete update of your money news is coming up next. You know, for me, when I started to lose weight, it wasn't just about looking better. It was about feeling better. And now that I have taken off more than 40 pounds with the help of Salt Lake City Fat Loss, I can tell you I no longer suffer from back spasms whenever I work out in the yard. I definitely have more energy. And the really fun thing is that my husband lost a lot of weight. He actually lost more weight than me, and he wasn't even on the program. But since he was eating the healthy foods that I was eating, he lost weight as well. Salt Lake City Fat Loss is an all-natural program, just a simple combination of foods to burn off that stored belly fat very quickly. It resets your metabolism so you can keep that weight off for good. And I loved it because I didn't have to exercise for over an hour a day to boost my metabolism. There are no injections, no surgery or pills, and that means there are no side effects. Find out how you can save $200 right now. You can do so at slcfatloss.com, or you can call them 801-450-1882. That's slcfatloss.com, slcfatloss.com.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things, people,
love.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and there's a good chance you've heard me talking about our free furnace sale. The one where you buy a new air conditioner and we give you a new furnace for just the cost to install it, about $400. Well, we still have a few more spots on our schedule we need to fill, so I'm extending the sale, but I'm not quite sure for how much longer. Definitely no later than the end of October. And once I think our schedule's full enough, I got to pull these ads. So don't wait too long to call and schedule your free estimate. The main reason we do this sale is to give you an incentive to help us keep our guys busy when the weather's mild. And thanks to your help, we're able to keep our guys and keep growing. So if your furnace and air conditioner are ready to be replaced, you owe it to yourself to at least schedule a free estimate and get all the details about our free furnace sale. Just to recap, when you have Any Hour Services install a new air conditioner, we'll give you a new furnace for just the cost to install it. About $400. The furnace is free, you just pay the labor. If you think you might be interested, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
At Intermountain Health, we believe life is a circle. May yours surround you with insight, a healthy perspective, trust, and reassurance. The belief that our differences aren't that different, and compassion just when you need it most. Life is a circle. May yours help you live the healthiest life possible. Intermountain Health.
KSL News Time 12:54. Still no sign of the people responsible for stealing more than $100 million of crown jewels from the Louvre in Paris. But there have been some new developments. More from ABC's James Longman.
We did hear extraordinary testimony just yesterday saying that the only security camera on the outside of the museum over the balcony was facing the wrong way, so nobody inside was given any notice as to what was happening.
Investigators have had one break, though, in the case. They have found DNA evidence in a helmet and gloves that were left at the scene. Watching Utah's money, the U.S. gross national debt has crossed $38 trillion for the first time in history. The growing debt is believed to stem from the government shutdown after being closed for 23 days at this point. It's costing the economy nearly $15 billion a week. Rivian Automotive is joining the long line of companies laying off employees due to market troubles. They are laying off more than 600 people due to uncertainty around the changing landscape in the EV space and the elimination of the EV tax credit. Chipotle is offering burrito Halloween deals for its rewards members. Those who dress up and participate in an online costume contest could receive an entire entree for $6 instead of the normal $15. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 205 points, about 0.5%, sitting at 46,795. S&P is up by 49. The NASDAQ up a full percent, up 228 points. An early morning agreement with Broadway's musicians will keep New York City's Great White Way open after threats of a shutdown.
The president of Local 802 released a statement about this new tentative deal, and he says this 3-year agreement provides meaningful wage and health benefit increases that will preserve crucial access to health care for our musicians while maintaining the strong contract protections that empower musicians to build a steady career on Broadway. As for what's next, Local 802 will bring this tentative agreement to their union members for ratification.
That is ABC's Jaysha Patel reporting.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-859-3220. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 to 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-859-3220. That's 800-859-3220 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. 800-859-3220.
Attention Jazz Nation. We know you've been waiting on the edge of your seat, and the time has finally arrived. All tickets are available now.
Let's go!
Your favorite players will be back on the court, bringing the energy all season long. Whether you're looking for season tickets, mini plans, or single game matchups, there's a perfect option for every kind of fan. Show up loud and proud at Delta Center this season. Don't miss your chance to be part of the action. Buy your tickets today at utahjazz.com.
KSL offers the best daily newsletter in the state. It's the 3 things you need to know. Every weekday, we deliver quality and relevant content to your inbox. No ads, no spam, just the 3 things you need to know to be informed about the world around you. Subscribe today. Visit KSLNewsRadio.com or text the word inbox to 57500. That's inbox to 57500.
Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. What's happening, Ricky?
We have some trouble in traffic in Utah County. Part of it, it may be an accident. It may be a disabled vehicle, a few vehicles over to the right shoulder. At the on-ramp to northbound I-15 at Pleasant Grove Boulevard, and then a little bit past that, over to the right shoulder, 2 vehicles at the overpass. And this is northbound I-15, so at the overpass, that's going to be at about a half mile prior to 5th East American Fork. Those vehicles, although out of traffic, we do not have emergency crews that have arrived yet. When you need the financial products and services for every stage of life, Cypress Credit Union is there for whatever the future holds. Visit cypresscu.com today. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Forecast calls for a very slight chance of showers today with a high 63 degrees. 64 tomorrow with that chance of showers disappearing. Then we are up to 70 degrees on Saturday and no chance of showers for all those football games. Right now, 59 degrees downtown.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
A massive series of arrests today involving players and coaches within the NBA. Allegations from the FBI of illegal sports betting and fraud. Also allegations of connections to the mafia.
It's not hundreds of dollars. It's not thousands of dollars. It's not tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even millions of dollars. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery across a multi-year investigation.
The time is 1 o'clock on Thursday, October 23rd. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, we're going to get a breakdown of the case and how the sports community as a whole, including the Utah Jazz, is reacting to that news. Also this hour,
plaintiffs began making their arguments for why they don't believe even the new map just approved by the legislature is appropriate.
The maps redrawn. We continue to track the latest developments on new congressional maps here in Utah and the legal fight hanging over them. But first, our top stories. Utah's measles count may be higher than originally thought if you include cases from just across the line between Hilldale, Utah and Colorado City, Arizona. Combined, the area has at least 123 confirmed cases, making it the second largest outbreak in the U.S. so far this year. Our top national story from ABC News. Over 30 current and former NBA players and coaches have been arrested in an investigation into illegal sports betting and a rigged poker ring. Among them, Portland Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups and former Cleveland Cavaliers player and coach Damon Jones.
NBA inside info about league athletes and teams was used to attract bettors, says New York City area federal prosecutor Joseph Nocella.
The non-public information included when specific players would be sitting out future games or when they would pull themselves out early for purported injuries or illnesses.
He says using their status as former players, Billups and Jones lured victims to poker games where secret card reading wireless tech helped fleece victims out of hundreds of thousands of bucks per game.
ABC's Chuck Severson there. The case goes back to 2019. Other national stories KSL is following. Photos of the White House this morning showed the entire East Wing is now rubble. The wing has been demolished as part of the president's plan to build what he says is now a $300 million ballroom, nearly twice the size of the White House itself. Taking a look at your money this moment, The Dow is up by 200 points, sitting at 46,790. S&P up by 49 and the NASDAQ up a full percent, up 230 points. The number of people giving birth at home instead of a hospital is on the rise. New data shows Utah had the 6th highest increase of home births in the nation. Former midwife and KSL Inside Sources co-host Holly Richardson says this is a big turnaround.
In 2023, those are the most recent numbers we have. About 1,400 births took place at home. So it's more than 3%. We also have that many more plus an additional percentage taking place in birth centers.
Richardson says she says women have always been able to give birth at home, but up until 20 years ago, Utah didn't even have a law allowing midwives to be licensed. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
It's a delay-free drive on all the Valley freeways, but we've had a few vehicles over to the shoulder at the on-ramp to northbound I-15 at Pleasant Grove Boulevard, and it looks like officers are working to get them out of traffic. It's time to try UTA. Less stress, no traffic, and more U-time. Plan your trip at rideuta.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Forecast for the Wasatch Front calls for highs in the 60s for the next couple of days, up to 70 degrees for Saturday. And the next big chance for rain comes on Sunday, a 50% chance, and the temperature dropping down to 56 degrees. 59 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
Make game day yours with the Utah Mammoth app. Get your tickets, order food and drinks without leaving your seat, track live stats, and stream every game with Mammoth Plus, all in one place. It's the ultimate game day essential, designed for Mammoth fans. Stay connected to your hometown team and never miss a moment. Download the Utah Mammoth app today on iPhone and Android. Turn on push notifications and make every day game day. Tusks up.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The NBA rocked today after several current and former players and coaches were arrested for their alleged involvement in a sports gambling scheme. It comes after a federal gambling probe involving the mafia. The latest from News Nation's Ryan Bass.
Authorities say that this case spans 11 states with 34 defendants and tens of millions of dollars tied to mafia-backed operations. Terry Rozier is accused of leaking private NBA info to help an illegal prop betting ring. Chauncey Billups allegedly linked to fixed underground poker games. And Damon Jones is one of three people allegedly connected to both cases. Prosecutors calling it a web of wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, and illegal gambling.
FBI Director Kash Patel says the arrests envelop both the NBA and La Casa Nostra. Joseph Nocella, the interim U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of New York, says the defendants would lure victims into rigged poker games for a chance to play with sports celebrities.
These defendants, which include former professional athletes, used high-tech cheating technology to steal millions of dollars from victims in underground poker games that were secretly fixed. The games in the New York area were backed by the Bonanno, Gambino, and Genovese crime families of La Cosa Nostra.
KSL legal analyst Greg Skorda spoke on Inside Sources this morning, sharing an example of how this scheme took place.
I was reading part of the indictment. In one specific instance, a player who's also one of the named people here was supposed to. You could bet on whether he would score 20 points or not.
Sure.
Because that was his average. You could bet on the over or the under.
Right.
And he told people before the game, I'm going to take myself out. In other words, bet on the under. I'm not going to hit my 20. Or he wasn't even going to play at all. So that he could control that, and people would have that inside information, and they'd say, I'm going to bet that player X doesn't score 20 today. I'll put $10,000 on that.
Wow.
And he takes himself out of the game after he gets 18 or 15 or whatever.
Right.
And all of a sudden you win the bet.
Later in the show, we'll chat more with Greg for further legal analysis into this situation. We'll also talk with KSL Sports to get reaction from the sports community, including the Utah Jazz. That's all coming up at 1:35 right here on Midday. In more local news now, the battle for a new congressional map here in Utah is making its way through the courts. The map's redrawn. We have special coverage on Midday. Today, a judge heard arguments on whether to adopt the legislature's new proposed map for future elections. KSL News Radio's Adam Small was in the courtroom and lays out what's at stake.
Yeah, Maria. So this all started very recently, within the last couple of months, where a district court judge here in Utah invalidated the current congressional maps, the maps that we use statewide to determine our voter boundaries, who votes for which state representative, depending on which area of the state you live in. The judge voided that map because she found it did not follow the parameters set by a 2018 voter-led ballot initiative, which might informally be called Prop 4, Proposition 4. It basically was designed by voters and passed by voters to prevent gerrymandering when the state redraws its map every 10 years. Now, the judge found that this last map we'd been using, the one that the legislature passed in 2021, did not follow those parameters, found that the state overstepped, basically, overruled or ignored that initiative, Prop 4, and drew their own maps, which you kind of been seeing the shift in voting trends in elections since we switched from the last one to the new one, where Salt Lake County kind of used to be a Democratic battleground where you might see a close match between Republicans and Democrats, and then after that you would see the four new districts have been overwhelmingly leaning Republican, and so the plaintiffs in this lawsuit, they sued over this map, said, hey, this isn't fair towards Democratic voters, and the judge ultimately sided with them.
So what happened in court today?
Where we're at in the process is after the judge basically invalidated, said we got to get a new map approved for the next election in 2026, for the next one where we're voting for U.S. House reps. The legislature recently held a special session. We had been covering it for here on listeners here on KSL News Radio. They held a special session. They drew and approved a new map. It was passed, and now basically what they had to do is send it to the court, to the same judge for approval. So today, both sides got into the courtrooms to basically plead their case on why they felt like, either the legislature's map was appropriate or opponents in this case believe it's not. They're actually claiming it's just, once again, another Republican gerrymander. They actually even called in a political science expert from the University of Michigan to testify on an algorithm he uses. It claims that, with these very odd or wide boundaries that encompass wide swaths of the state, arguing that still leads for Republicans. So they made that argument, and the plaintiffs also submitted their own maps that they think the judge should consider to make Utah's new congressional map. The state is expected to, between today and tomorrow, call their own experts to say, hey, this is why we approved the map we did. We don't believe it's gerrymandered. We have these experts run these, what they call partisan bias tests, to determine what they think. We don't believe it's a gerrymander for either party, but again, plaintiffs calling their expertise into question. So that's kind of where we're at today in court. I was in there as plaintiffs began making their arguments for why they don't believe even the new map just approved by the legislature is appropriate and why they think they should consider an alternative.
Okay, so this is expected to continue tomorrow as well.
Judge Gibson, in this case, had set aside 2 days for arguments. So today we started it. Defense of the state is expected to be pleading their case either later today or into tomorrow. I imagine there will be a little bit of rebuttal from both sides as well. But this is just the latest process, and that Judge Gibson is going to have to decide, which of these maps is appropriate. But to kind of put in the schedule and the deadline, the Lieutenant Governor's office has set a deadline of November 10th for a new map to be approved, adopted, and ready, because county clerks all over the state are going to need to know what their boundaries are and which voters they're going to need to prepare ballots for in 2026. And that takes quite a bit of time. So they need to have this whole thing wrapped up by November 10th if we're going to avoid any major snafus with election deadlines.
That is KSL News Radio's Adam Small there. We'll continue to track the developments with this case on air and online at kslnewsradio.com. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Annuities, non-advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at trajanwealth.com.
A 7-story hotel could soon be coming to a now vacant corner in Sugar House. Following a lengthy hearing and debate last night, the Salt Lake City Planning Commission approved plans from a Mill Creek developer to build a 90-foot-tall hotel at the corner of 21st South and 13th East, where a Sizzler restaurant once stood. Local residents, along with the Sugar House Community Council, saying they are vehemently opposed to that plan. But a representative from the development group, Dave Hunter, says he hasn't heard from anyone in the neighborhood.
To this day, and Joe Brown, my other partner that is going through this, I can't speak for him, but to this day I have not gotten a single phone call from the neighborhood. Not one. I haven't gotten an email or a phone call, but I am available every day. You can call, you can come to my office, and we can sit down and have a coffee, and we'll go through the whole project.
I meant more out on the street. That's where I'm at.
Okay. And then I heard your concern also, and we hear these concerns, and we know they are valid, and we know they're legitimate concerns, and we will make ourselves available to the neighborhood, and we'll make that commitment to the Planning Commission that we will, I don't know how we can do better, but we will go back out and try to canvass and say, guys, this is our information. We can't find you. You got to come to us. I mean, we don't know how to go find the people that have the concerns, but we will make ourselves available to the people that have them.
Another representative for the developer, Ben Hayden, saying that he's grateful for the comments and feedback offered by so many community members at the meeting last night.
We're open to any conversation on these notes. The smaller retail spaces, that's one that's a great idea, honestly, and we're so early in the process, there's still tons of room to work that into the project, so we like that idea as well.
Previous plans for the site included a gas station, but that plan was rejected by the Planning Commission over environmental concerns. Planning Commission approved the hotel plans on a vote of 7-1. It now heads to the Salt Lake City Council for review. From the land down under to little old Garfield County, an Australian company is looking to expand their rare earth mining operations to an area near the town of Antimony in central Utah. But the proposal has residents split, with many worried about the environmental impacts this kind of operation could have, especially on their water. KSL 5 TV's Alex Cabrero has more.
Many of us have that one place where the world slows down.
Hey, ready?
For Ole and Kendall Lindgren, that place is right outside their door.
This is my dream, to live in the mountains, raise my family in a pristine area.
For 25 years, they've called Antimony home, drawn here by the water, wildlife, and silence the canyon behind their home brings them.
We thought we found the safest place in the world.
But that peace is now being tested.
I cried about it, and I continue to cry when I think about it.
An Australian company called Trig Minerals wants to mine the canyon for antimony, the critical mineral this town is named after. Antimony is used in things like fighter jets, night vision goggles, ammunition, military applications for national defense. Right now, the United States has to import it, mostly from China. Trig says this canyon holds one of the largest deposits in the country, and that mining here could help America become more self-reliant.
And ask yourself, would you want that to come to your backyard? Not even the shareholders would.
But for the Lindgrens, that national goal feels too close to home. They agree America should be more self-reliant, but they're also worried about water quality, wildlife, and mining traffic if operations begin.
I would hate to see this community destroyed by mining.
So far, that's all that their expert has told them they ought to do.
It's why many residents have been holding town meetings to see how others feel and what can be done.
Are stricter than the federal regulations?
There are those against it, but also those for it.
I think it's very important, and we got to try to hold our own against China.
In this day and age, it's very important.
Ellen and Roger Gleave say they understand the risks, but see the potential rewards.
We need to start depending on ourselves and do just like Trump says, we need jobs. You see that school right over there? It's closed down because we have no job.
Antimony's only school just closed this year. Some feel mining could help bring families and paychecks back.
It could. It could if it was done right.
Mayor Casey King says right now there are more questions than answers.
I really don't think there's enough information gathered yet.
In an email, Trig Minerals says any work that would happen would be above the canyon, not actually in it. They also say they will follow all environmental regulations and get all the necessary permits before starting any work. They hope to begin exploratory drilling by the end of this year with full operations in 2027.
That is KSL 5 TV's Alex Cabrera reporting. After the break...
It's about $300 million. It's set to do many, many things, including meetings of foreign leaders, including the honoring of foreign leaders.
We'll get the latest on the developments to demolish and rebuild the East Wing of the White House as President Trump moves forward with plans for a grand ballroom. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We do have a crash blocking a right lane of traffic in South Salt Lake. This is northbound I-15 after 3300 South. It is causing some minor slowing in the area. It's Foothill Rug Gallery's semi-annual sale. Get the biggest savings of the year, up to 70% off. Foothill Rug Gallery's semi-annual sale, 1460 South Foothill Drive. Ricky Meeson, the KSL Traffic Center.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th, new Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and autopay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back?
back. If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Does it feel like someone stabbing a knife into your heel? Or does your lower back give you problems as the day goes on? The Good Feet store wants to help you like we helped Ann.
Every time I stood up, pain just shot up my legs. Fortunately, I found the Good Feet store. I went to them after my doctor diagnosed me with plantar fasciitis. And now, thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm 100%.
Wouldn't it be nice to get back to doing what you love, like Patrick did?
I was in constant pain. Somehow my fiance and I found our way into the Good Feet store. Put my foot on the arch support system. I put them in my shoes, my back, my knees, my ankles. Thank you. Thank you, everybody at the Good Feet store. You gave me my active life back.
Learn more or schedule an appointment at goodfeet.com and come in and get your free personalized fitting at the Good Feet store. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, October 25th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We are streaming on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. The east wing of the White House could be completely demolished as soon as this weekend. That's according to several sources who spoke with ABC News. President Trump, who once said the addition of the planned ballroom would not interfere with the White House structure, now says demolition is necessary. Brad Milkey and ABC's Mary Bruce discuss the developments in this episode of the Start Here podcast.
Let's start the day with ABC's Mary Bruce right now, who's been all over this. Mary, you're at the West Wing. I mean, when you look out the window, what's happening over there?
Well, I can tell you there's a lot of noisy banging, a lot of commotion, and I've gone around to see what we can of this demolition. Right now, the public can only sort of get a sliver of a glimpse of this massive construction project, but what was the East Wing is no longer. We've seen bulldozers, shearing away the side of the building. It's completely now this open, mangled structure. That's all that's left of the East Wing. And sources tell us that the president is aiming to tear down the entire thing, that all of the East Wing will be torn down by this coming weekend.
In order to do it properly, we had to take down the existing structure.
To make way for this massive new ballroom, which the president now says will cost $300 million, Brad.
Wait, and just remind me, Mary, for those of us who don't walk past it every day, remind me what's there, because there's what I think we all think of as the White House proper. You work over in the West Wing, which is off to the side. So the East Wing, that's not necessarily connected to the White House, or is it?
No, it is connected on the ground floor. Now, the East Wing, if you want a bit of history, was built in 1902. It was then updated in 1942. Traditionally, it's been the home to the First Lady's offices, the Social Secretary's office. A lot of people may be familiar, actually, with the East Wing because it's where visitors usually enter the White House if you come for one of those tours. That is where the public enters into the residence. And yes, there's the traditional White House residence, which we think of as the big main building, and then the West Wing, which is the president's offices, and the East Wing. The East Wing is what is being torn down and overhauled to make a new connection between the original residence, what we think of as the traditional White House, and this new massive ballroom.
I think it'll be one of the great ballrooms anywhere in the world. It's about $300 million. It's set to do many, many things, including meetings of foreign leaders, including the honoring of foreign leaders. You can see.
And keep in mind, this ballroom is gigantic, 90,000 square feet. That is larger than the original White House residence, which is just 55,000 square feet.
It won't interfere with the current building. It'll be near it, but not touching it.
And I think part of the reason so many people were sort of taken aback when this demolition started and really took the nation's capital by surprise is that the president, when he announced the project, pledged he would not interfere with the building, which of course is known as the People's House. But yesterday, when asked about that, the president said that in order to do it properly, they had to take down the existing structure.
The move is raising all sorts of red flags from historians, including Edward Langle, the former chief historian at the White House Historical Association. He says the plans the president is moving forward with go against the ideas of the founding fathers.
The construction of the ballroom takes us toward a presidential palace and a palatial complex for entertainment. It runs counter to their vision of the executive mansion as being the people's house.
Republicans on the Hill also voicing concerns with the messaging around the ballroom, especially as a government shutdown continues.
Some Republicans on the Hill don't like all the attention that is being put on this construction project. They wish the president would change the subject.
We're talking about building a ballroom when we're trying to get the economy squared away. Timing's bad.
Thousands of government workers are missing paychecks. Millions of Americans are worried simply about putting food on the table, and yet the national conversation, in part, is being dominated by this conversation about White House construction.
Hey, and Mary, that leads us to the last question. Who is paying for all this? You mentioned a $300 million price tag. That's not American taxpayers, though, right? Usually these things are done through private donation. So who are these people?
The president insists that the $300 million project is being paid for privately, that it is being covered, as he put, by himself and some of his friends.
ABC's Mary Bruce and Start Here host Brad Milkey there discussing the developments at the White House to demolish the East Wing and build a massive ballroom instead. It's 1:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. More than 30 arrests around the country over an alleged illegal gambling ring involving the mafia and NBA players and coaches. We'll get a breakdown on the cases, whether there are any jazz connections, and how the sports industry is responding. Plus, a look at KSL traffic. Ricky?
A new crash in Weber County, westbound Riverdale Road at about 10th West. Maria?
Taking a look at the forecast for the Wasatch Front, a big change from what we were seeing earlier in the week. Good news for those folks who are headed to football games on Saturday, because now that chance of showers has disappeared, and the high on Saturday up to 70 degrees. And today's high, 63. We do have a slight chance of showers today. KSL's top local stories coming up in just 1 minute. It's 1:30.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. American ranchers say they aren't happy that President Trump is committed to buy more beef from Argentina. It's a boost to his political ally, Javier Milei, and White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said,
President loves our ranchers and he also loves American consumers, and he wants to do right by both. So the immediate solution to the problem of the rising cost of beef, President wants to bring that down as we have to increase our supply. And so that's what he's doing with respect to these imports.
She said the president has a very thorough examination of every pardon request after he pardoned the founder of crypto platform Binance, who pled guilty to charges that he did not do enough to keep criminals off the platform. He's a supporter of the Trump family's crypto initiative. President Trump says federal troops are not going to San Francisco this week after he spoke to the city's mayor. An NBA player, Terry Rozier of the Miami Heat, and Portland Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups were arrested as part of a sweeping federal gambling sting. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. The court battle for a new congressional map here in Utah is progressing. Today, a judge is hearing arguments on whether to adopt the legislature's new proposed map for future elections. KSL News Radio's Adam Small was in the courtroom today.
The most recent map we'd been using after the legislature drew and passed it in 2021 was voided. That's because a judge ruled it didn't follow the parameters set in a ballot initiative that sought to prevent gerrymandering. The lawmakers recently drew and passed a new map, and now today the same judge is hearing arguments on whether to formally adopt that one or one of the two proposed by the groups who sued over the last one. The plaintiffs are now arguing the state's new map is also a GOP gerrymander and have called their experts' analysis into question, while the state is standing by partisan bias tests conducted, which they claim show the boundaries are not gerrymandered. No matter what happens, the lieutenant governor is giving the judge just under 3 weeks to have a new map adopted and finalized. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
A man convicted of rape after authorities said he faked his own death to avoid the charges has a new home in Utah. Nicholas Rossi has been transferred to the Central Utah Correctional Facility following his sentencing. He will serve 5 years to life in prison after being convicted of raping his former girlfriend in Utah County. Rossi says he plans to appeal the sentence. Utah is now the home to the world's largest remote-operated rain seeding program, according to state engineers. There are currently 120 remote-operated cloud seeding generators in the state, replacing older generations that would have to be manually turned on. Jake Sarago, an engineer with the Department of Natural Resources, told the legislature this makes it the largest program in the world.
For Utah, this will be incredibly, in the scientific world, Utah will be in the limelight.
He says those participating in the project are some of the best atmospheric researchers in the country, putting Utah on a path to be in the forefront of weather research. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow losing some ground, now only up by 159 points, sitting at 46,749. S&P up by 46 points. The NASDAQ up by a full percent, up 227 points. Traffic and weather brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Any trouble spots, Ricky?
We have a couple. Cleanup continues on a crash in South Salt Lake, northbound I-15 at 33rd South. It's just after 33rd. It's out of traffic on the shoulder. It's still a little busy and backed up in the area. And then we have this accident in Weber County. It's on the westbound side of Riverdale Road at about 1050 West. It is blocking a right lane of travel. From system install to fast fixes to delivering award-winning heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical, call Whipple Service Champions for the win today. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
The high today and tomorrow in the low to mid-60s, up to 70 degrees for Saturday, and then big drop on Sunday, down to 56 for a high and a 50% chance of showers. 61 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Get set for fall entertaining with incredible deals at Scandinavian Designs. The Fall Entertaining Sale features huge savings on select furniture and decor for every space, from dining and living rooms to guest spaces ready for overnight stays. Refresh your home today and make it holiday ready just in time for the gathering season ahead, but only for a limited time. Scandinavian Designs. We make it simple, you make it home. Stop by your local showroom today or shop online at ScandinavianDesigns.com.
Friday, join KSL News Radio and NPS from 10 to 1 as the movie show stops by. Then browse and uncover what makes NPS so great. With 4 locations, NPS takes in new inventory every day. Then they check all competitors' retail pricing before marking items down 20 to 70% off. So you're invited to visit the movie show Friday 10 to 1. And that's the first step to discovering NPS. Visit NPSstore.com to begin your own NPS adventure. NPSstore.com.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. I'm here to warn you about telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Some of these scammers may say threatening things like you will be arrested if you don't make payments or provide personal information. Do not fall for these tricks. These calls are not from us. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you for information or money. If you receive a call like this, hang up. Never give the caller your personal information, like your Social Security number or bank account, or send money in any form cash, gift cards, wire transfers, or prepaid debit cards. Report the call to our law enforcement arm, the Office of the Inspector General, at oig.ssa.gov. Share this information with your friends and family.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Dozens of people, including current and former NBA players and coaches, under arrest today in connection with a massive gambling scheme. The FBI says those arrested drained tens of millions of dollars from victims through a dual sports betting scheme and a poker fraud scheme. Among those arrested are a current Portland Trail Blazers coach and a former Cleveland Cavaliers player and coach. At this time, no Utah Jazz players or coaches appear to be involved. FBI Director Kash Patel says these operations had connections to mafia crime families.
This is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchesi crime families.
Interim U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York, Joseph Nocella, explains the nature of the indictments.
We're announcing today indictments in two major cases, both involving fraud. One involves sports betting, and the other involves illegal gambling, very specifically rigged poker games.
We are going to cover both the legal angles to this situation, plus reaction from the sports community. We begin with the legal angle and are joined by Inside Sources co-host and KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas. And Greg, what do you make of these charges?
Well, they're very serious, Maria. There are two different forms of gambling that they're talking about here, and you explain them at the introduction here. One is that they bet on some games, and particularly what players were doing. So, for example, you could bet that a certain player would score more or less than 30 points in a game. And that particular player, if they're involved in that scheme, they know what to do. And so they were actually taking themselves out of the game at a time before they scored their 30 points. So if you bet that they would not score that many points, you would win the bet. But it was all planned. Same with rebounds and other things that these players were doing. They were literally fixing games. The second part of this was just straight up gambling itself. They had these sort of underground poker games where they had these well-to-do people that thought they were having a square, fair poker game. And instead, the person they were playing against had the ability to know the cards that they had. They had X-ray equipment. They had all kinds of things, so that the fix was in on that as well. So the gambling was really pervasive, and it involves, like you said, millions of dollars.
So how is the FBI involved? Because this spans state lines, right?
Exactly, and it also involved the use of the internet. People were gambling, at least with the players, on their stats based on the internet. And of course, they were playing in different cities. I think there were at least 3 different cities where these players committed these offenses. So, yeah, it involves interstate commerce, and that would get the FBI and the federal government involved. And these are federal charges.
Okay, so where is the line between legal gambling in states where it is legal and claims of fraud?
You know, legal gambling means that all parties have, their eyes open, that there's nothing going on to fix the gambling. We don't have legal gambling in Utah under any circumstance, in part because of this. It's so fraught with the ability for fraud. But if you bet on a football game and all the players are fighting their best to do the best they can, that's one thing. But one of the players is involved trying to get you to bet on the other team, knowing that they're going to play poorly to make that win, then it's not a fair gambling operation anymore.
Well, and to make it even weirder, what is this supposed connection to the mafia? What's your reaction to that?
Well, no surprise. I mean, to have organized gambling the way they did, especially with the sophistication of it all and the money that was involved, I mean, you have to have some backing and some organization. I mean, you can't just set up a card game at your local bar and hope people are going to show up. They had people that were promoting this. They say, hey, come play cards with a celebrity. You're going to be playing cards with a basketball player, somebody who's famous. Big money's involved. We'll set up the security. We'll make sure everybody's protected. I mean, you have to have that kind of, I'll say, muscle, for lack of a better word, behind you when you do something like this.
All right, Greg. Thanks for joining us for a few minutes here. That is Greg Skordas, legal analyst and the co-host of Inside Sources. In just 60 seconds, we'll find out how the sports community is reacting to the news today. Stay with us.
Every time I turn around, my friends at Pure Talk give me one more reason to feel good about switching. This month, for instance, they're supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat veterans struggling with PTSD. The result? They're saving lives on both ends of the leash. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. I like being in business with an American wireless company who shares my values. Yeah, I appreciate unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and I bet you will too. But I think you'll really appreciate doing business with a company who gives back to the men and women who volunteered to defend our country. Just dial pound 250, say micro. With Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team, you can switch in as little as 10 minutes. Again, dial pound 250, say micro, to switch to an American wireless company who actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
We continue to follow news today of more than 30 arrests in a case involving NBA players and coaches and illegal sports gambling and fraud. The FBI says the case also involves the mafia. Director Kash Patel explaining the sheer amount of money involved.
It's not hundreds of dollars. It's not thousands of dollars. It's not tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even millions of dollars. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery across a multi-year investigation.
Before the break, we spoke with KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas to get his legal takes on the case. And now let's bring in KSL Sports Jazz insider Ben Anderson for some reaction from the sports community as a whole. Ben, thanks for being with me. So it doesn't appear any players or coaches with the Jazz are involved, but have team leaders said anything about these allegations within the league?
No, we haven't seen it. The league did announce that these coaches and players have been put on leave for now. And, you know, they are assumed innocent until proven guilty, but these are certainly a serious level of charges that we don't see often in the NBA.
Right. What is the reaction? I mean, obviously, this is kind of makes the NBA look bad.
Well, Terry Rozier has been under investigation, had been mentioned with gambling for a while now. And we've seen a couple of players pop up with allegations like this in the last year or so. So he's already been on the radar. Chauncey Billups, who's a Hall of Famer, very respected coach, former NBA champion, finals MVP, his name being involved is a different level. And I think that's what may have the league spooked a little bit. This is a coach. This is somebody who should know better, who's older, who's mature, who's been around, who's made a lot of money and still making these mistakes.
So we heard Kash Patel say that this is an ongoing investigation. Or do you see any signs that they're about to mention somebody else within the NBA that's involved?
I mean, you certainly could. They were leaning on a former player who's been banned by the league, Jonte Porter, to see if he could unveil more information. Former NBA All-Star Gilbert Arenas was arrested several months ago for his involvement in also a poker game that was being hosted at his house illegally. He said he would snitch, his words, on anybody to make sure he stayed out of jail. So this could certainly grow.
So has NBA leadership made any comments at all?
No, just that the players and coaches have been put on leave, and that's where they're going to leave it for now.
Okay. And any idea how long they're going to stay that way? I mean, as this unravels, does it sound like some of these people could actually lose their jobs before they are proven guilty?
Yes, I won't be surprised if the Portland Trail Blazers decide to let go of Chauncey Billups as their head coach, even though they did just give him a contract extension this offseason. And Terry Rozier, in all practicality, his career is likely over.
So, Ben, what do you think? How do you think this impacts, fans? I mean, these guys make millions of dollars. So what do you think that says to fans?
This is a weird gray area that the NBA and really all professional sports have been willing to delve into now where, growing up for me, the league I watched, nobody dared talk about gambling. They certainly didn't have gambling sponsorships. And now teams are racing to get as much gambling as they can involved because there's so much money. So, there are arenas that want to be built that are half casino, half basketball arena. We've just blurred those lines so significantly. that I think some of these issues were essentially inevitable. And it's certainly a black eye, and it's certainly something the NBA, the NFL, the NHL, Major League Baseball, they're going to have to explore how to kind of draw a line there that allows them to still make as much money as they are through gambling, which everybody wants a piece of, but doesn't include their players, because so far we've seen the NFL players get involved. NFL players aren't supposed to gamble of any kind when it comes to sports. Major League Baseball players been banned for apparently throwing bad pitches, and now several NBA players.
All right. Thank you so much for being with me. That is Ben Anderson. He's a KSL Sports Jazz insider. Meanwhile, the Utah Jazz won their home season opener last night, besting the LA Clippers. KSL Sports anchor Jeremiah Jensen says they started with a solid defense.
7 steals in the first quarter. Walter Clayton Jr., rookie Ace Bailey, his first NBA points. And Utah led 43-19 after 1 quarter. 4 Jazzmen in double figures in the first half alone. Lauri Markkanen had 15 points, 3 3-pointers. And Keontae George finished off the second with a tough finish in the lane at the buzzer. The Jazz were up 31 at the half.
They set a franchise record for points scored on opening night. They won 129-108. And speaking of sports, make sure you stick with KSL News Radio all this week as we preview the BYU game this Saturday against Iowa State. Tonight and tomorrow night, listen to Cougar Tracks at 6:30. Then on Saturday, special extended pregame coverage airs from 10 to 11:30, sponsored by the New Millennium Group. And, of course, make sure you are subscribed to BYU Sports Updates. Just text BYU to 57500. KSL News Radio, your legacy home of the BYU Cougars. A new flight simulator making the journey to the skies a little easier for Utah State University students. More on that in just a few minutes. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
In Riverdale, a crash at westbound Riverdale Road, about 10th West or 11th West in Weber County, still blocking a right lane of traffic and causing some backups. And for those in South Salt Lake, the accident northbound I-15 after 33rd South, still over to the right shoulder, but out of traffic, and the curiosity slowing it was causing has eased. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
The Social Security Administration just announced they are now projected to run out of money 1 year earlier than expected. Benefits could be cut by as much as 23%, and the average person could lose more than $100,000 in lifetime income. This news could significantly change when you file for Social Security. Discover how you could get every penny out of your benefits with a free Social Security analysis from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. This free, customized analysis could help you get every penny out of Social Security. Call 801-896-9622. That number again, 801-896-9622.
Boss Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the Social Security Administration.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. The other night, I had the chance to see a brand new play at Hale Center Theater, and it's the musical comedy Murders of 1940. And I'm just going to read what I wrote to Sally Dietlein right after I got out to my truck. I just had to let her know how much I enjoyed it, and I said, a black and white screwball film noir comedy complete with Nazis you have outdone yourself. This is so unique. The entire play, save only one character, is in black and white. Sally wrote back and said, yeah, I think it's the first time we've ever done, and she used this term, grayscape. It is so unique. You are going to love it. And then just down the hall, Sister Act is showing, and all kinds of wonderful performances still to come, like Frozen. We've already got our tickets for our grandkids. Go to hct.org or get your tickets at the box office. And don't forget, get your 2026 season tickets.
It's the Medicare Advantage annual enrollment period, and Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Aviation training is really taking off at Utah State University after some big upgrades to the program, including access to a Boeing 737 simulator. KSL TV's Mike Anderson spoke to several students and instructors, including senior Sydney Steed, who says she got hooked after hearing from friends about the program.
I just absolutely fell in love with it. The adrenaline, it's so fun. There's always something new to learn. I enjoy that you're never finished. You know, there's always work to be done. You can always be a better pilot, be more knowledgeable, and I find that I enjoy the challenge.
The flight simulator is state-of-the-art with 4K wraparound screens and realistic controls, just like a real 737 cockpit. Grayson Scharfs graduated last spring, but is a grad student now as well as a volunteer instructor.
I think when we all get on campus and, we all have high aspirations of one day going to the airlines, to start being able to step in the shoes of what that's like and being a volunteer role and instructing in it and just getting unlimited access is truly incredible.
Scharf says the simulator helps make sure the program's graduates prioritize safety.
Definitely safety is the number one thing we're working for. Down at the airport during our flight instruction, that training, that's the number one thing we emphasize. So up here, we're just trying to reiterate that because right at the end of the day, we don't know who's in the back necessarily, but we know it's a family and they have important people to them. We want to get them from point A to B safely as possible.
Sydney says it's very different than flying the smaller propeller planes at the airport, but it helps that the simulator is a lot of fun.
I joke that this is my fun school. We're here multiple times a week at 6 a.m. up at 4:30, ready to go because it's so fun. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely been a challenge. The systems are completely different. Learning how to fly a jet, it's a whole different ballgame. So it's been awesome. Feel very blessed to be able to do it before we go to the airlines and get thrown into it.
Ryan Peck is also a senior in the aviation program at USU. He tells Mike Anderson he got his love of flying from his family.
I fell in love with flying at a young age. My grandpa flew in World War II in the flying Corsairs in the Pacific, and ever since then, I've just loved flying.
What does it mean to be able to have this kind of access at USU?
I mean, it's everything. It gives us an upper hand. I mean, having 50 hours in this simulator going into the airlines, it puts us above a lot of other applicants who they may have 2,000 hours or whatever their hour requirement is, but no one has this type of training anywhere. So it's a huge upgrade for all of us and puts us ahead of the competition.
Instructor Ben Towery says the combination of the love of flying and state-of-the-art training tech is unbeatable.
Yeah, no, I do love flying. And what this does create too, because when you start private pilot and then go to commercial and do your instrument training, this kind of gives you a light at the end of the tunnel of where you're going to be headed at the end of this, moving from single engine to a jet, which is huge for these kids because it's a long process to go through this. So to come in here, sit in a jet seat, to be doing procedure flows is huge for these kids and really wraps things up to get them excited about what's to come in the future.
You can see video from Mike Anderson's full story online at ksltv.com. Salt Lake County leaders coming together to discuss how communities can stop hate crimes. The gathering, part of a wider movement known as United Against Hate Week. County Council Chair Dia Theodore says hate and the fight against hate is a nonpartisan issue.
As you look at things from the national level, the temperature can be quite high. In Salt Lake County, I'd like to believe that we do things differently here, and we are a state that is caring and compassionate towards others. And I'd like to also bring that to our county, and I think we do a really good job. As chair this year, I have encouraged unity, respect, and compassion with our members, and just spreading that same message to our community. I know we've had some things that happen in our state that have been hateful and very painful to our community. And so I definitely discourage that type of activity or behavior, and I will always lead with compassion.
Community leaders also attended the announcement, including Liz Page, a board member for the United Jewish Federation of Utah.
United Against Hate Week is not just a calendar event. It's a commitment. It's our community saying clearly we will not normalize harassment, threats, or violence, whether anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim bigotry, racism, homophobia, transphobia, or any ideology that targets people for who they are.
Salt Lake County District Attorney Sim Gill also saying that hate is emotional and when left unchecked can lead to violence. In other news, the Catholic Church and the Anglican Church of England are trying to heal a bitter divide, something that's lasted over the past several hundred years. The heads of each church, Pope Leo and UK King Charles, attending a special service today in the Sistine Chapel. The two leaders praying together. ABC's James Longman is at the Vatican with more.
The first time in more than 500 years, a King of England and a Pope praying together. King Charles and Pope Leo in the magnificent Sistine Chapel, bringing the leaders of the Anglican and Catholic churches together in prayer for the first time since England broke with Rome in the 16th century. Charles, alongside his Queen Camilla, there for a show of unity, important to a king who has long promoted interfaith dialogue.
Prior to the service, the King and Queen had a private audience with the Pope where they exchanged gifts. In the next hour of Midday, we'll learn more about a rising trend in Utah of women choosing to have babies in places other than a traditional hospital. Stay with us.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The government shutdown enters its 23rd day, now the second longest shutdown in history. Neither side looking to come together towards a plan.
We do assess it day by day, hour by hour, because if you remember, the original CR was going to extend and allow 7 additional weeks for us to finish the appropriations process to November 21. Well, now they've eaten up, the month of October.
The time is 2 o'clock on Thursday, October 23rd. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, we'll chat with an economic expert to get more on the true costs of the shutdown, including the overreaching cost of federal assistance programs. Also this hour,
we're feeding the wild horses, and you're giving $20 million or $1 billion or whatever the number was to Argentina, and you're not even taking care of the problems at home.
Cattle ranchers across the West voicing frustration over the president's new beef deal with Argentina. We'll also hear from ranchers who support the plan. But first, our top stories. The Utah-Arizona border is home to the second largest measles outbreak in the U.S. so far this year. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
Short Creek, the tight-knit community with historical ties to polygamy, is made up of Hilldale, Utah, and Colorado City, Arizona. There have been 123 confirmed cases of measles this year between the twin communities. This area also has some of the lowest kindergarten vaccination rates in the country. An analysis from NBC says 21.6% of 5-year-olds in Mojave County, Arizona are unvaccinated, and 20.8% of them in Washington County, Utah are unvaccinated.
43 of the 57 confirmed cases in Utah have been in southwest Utah. Our top national story from ABC News. New numbers show mortgage rates are now at their lowest level in over a year.
The lower rates are boosting sales of existing homes by 1.5% from last month, says the National Association of Realtors. The 30-year fixed-rate mortgage averages 6.19%. A year ago at this time, the rate was 6.54%. Also a little lower than last week, the 15-year fixed-rate mortgage averaging 5.44%. A year ago at this time, the 15-year rate averaged 5.71%.
That is ABC's Chuck Sievertson reporting. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow ending the day up 144 points, dropping from its earlier highs, sitting at 46,734 at the close. S&P 500 up by 39, the NASDAQ up by 201 points. Other national stories KSL is following. President Trump says he's changed his mind about sending National Guard troops to San Francisco. He says he decided to hold off after talking to the city's mayor last night. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. An update now. Here's Ricky Meese.
Crews are still working to clean up this crash northbound I-15 after 33rd South in South Salt Lake. It is out of traffic on the right shoulder. No delay. And the accident that we've had in Weber County, westbound Riverdale Road between 10th and 11th West. Also in the cleanup stages, and they've opened up that right lane of travel. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mild fall weather for the next few days, all the way through Saturday. Saturday's high up to 70 degrees, and then a big change on Sunday, 50% chance of showers, and the high back down into the 50s. 61 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studio.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, what are you waiting for? Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
You need another bathroom. You want a back patio retreat. We have a plan. If you're looking to start a home improvement project, a discounted home equity line of credit from Zions Bank is an easy, affordable way to turn your home's equity into opportunity. Stop by your local branch to get started or visit zionsbank.com/HELOC to learn more. Loan subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. See banker for details. A division of Zions Bank Corporation, N.A., member FDIC, equal housing lender. NMLS number 467014.
When you take your grandkids to Disney, do they know what's in your investment portfolio? Do they even care? They're busy having a great time, and you're busy making memories. At Galileo Wealth Management, we understand the nuts and bolts of retirement planning, our investments, the stock market, taxes, Social Security, Medicare, and more. But think about it. What are you trying to do here? Is your goal to beat the S&P? Or is your goal to make memories with your family? Our goal is to give you the confidence to spend in retirement without the fear of running out of money. Call Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management today, 801-516-3227. That's 801-516-3227 or go online to GalileoWealth.com. Let Todd Kim and Galileo Wealth Management help you make memories, not just money.
Friday, join KSL News Radio and NPS from 10 to 1 as the movie show stops by. Then browse and uncover what makes NPS so great. With 4 locations, NPS takes in new inventory every day. Then they check all competitors' retail pricing before marking items down 20 to 70% off. So you're invited to visit the movie show Friday 10 to 1. And that's the first step to discovering NPS. Visit npsstore.com to begin your own NPS adventure. npsstore.com.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. It's day 23 of the government shutdown, and lawmakers aren't any closer to getting legislation passed that would fund the government and reopen it. This morning, the Senate voted again on the same 2 bills they rejected before, and they rejected them again. Democrats are insistent they want to open up talks on extending tax credits that are part of the Affordable Care Act. But Republicans say they won't talk until the government reopens. The Senate rejected a measure that would have paid some federal workers during the shutdown.
We do assess it day by day, hour by hour.
Hundreds of thousands are having to work without paychecks, while others have been fired by the Trump administration. House Speaker Mike Johnson says a change in strategy could happen.
We do assess it day by day, hour by hour, because if you remember, the original CR was going to extend and allow 7 additional weeks for us to finish the appropriations process to November 21. Well, now they've eaten up, the month of October. And we're getting closer and closer to that deadline. And so it is something that we take into account. It's a day-by-day evaluation.
He also says he's not planning on bringing back his members anytime soon.
If I brought everybody back right now and we voted on a measure to do this, to pay essential workers, it would be spiked in the Senate. They're going to show you this afternoon that they would spike that bill. So it would be a waste of our time.
Congressman Burgess Owens facing pushback from his constituents over the government shutdown. During a phone town hall, Representative Owens says he's spoken with the president about moving money around as efficiently as possible, even without a full budget.
Well, what President Trump is trying to do from the very beginning says, let's not do this. Let's not bring any pain. And in the case here where they're bringing pain, he's doing his very best to alleviate it. That's why he was able to do some things for the military, find funds to push into the military, why he was able to do things for WIC, for women and for women and children, so they can make sure they're not feeling the pain. But there's so much money that can be moved around. And that's why the timing is so important. We just can't continue to have this running week after week, month after month, because at some point we just won't have the money to move in the places where we call essential. And if they do move it there, unfortunately, you're going to have some folks who will never, again, have a job to come back to because the jobs aren't there anymore. The money's been moved away.
As the shutdown continues, the Bipartisan Policy Center says more than 700,000 federal workers have been furloughed. Among the things being affected by the government shutdown are food assistance programs. Yesterday, we told you about SNAP benefits being paused in a few days, with funds drying up by the time November rolls around. Leaders of the Utah Department of Workforce Services saying that they won't have funds to send out to families in November unless the government reopens. Let's go more in depth now on the pauses to food assistance programs. Joining me now live on Midday is Benga Ajilore, a former senior advisor for rural development at the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you for having me.
We've been hearing a lot about the pauses to the SNAP program as a result of the government shutdown, but we've also heard of departments moving these funds around to keep certain things funded. Given your experience at the USDA, is that an option for SNAP benefits?
That might be an option for SNAP benefits, but I think the key that we have to think about is that there's actually a contingency fund for this specific purpose. There's about $3 billion that the administration can allocate for the specific purpose to be able to have funds for the states for a SNAP.
So talk to us a bit more about the overall effects on American families if SNAP runs dry. Is it different depending on where people live? Like, is it worse for urban or rural communities?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and it's worse for rural communities. What we have is that while rural communities are very resilient, strong, and there's a lot of good people who live there, they tend to be lower income and so more likely to rely on SNAP, also Medicaid and other programs like that. Some data tells us that there's 6.6 million rural residents who receive food assistance through SNAP. And so if
So, what kind of economic effect could this pause have on small businesses in the country?
So that's a very good, important point, too, because it's not just the people who receive SNAP, but the businesses that accept SNAP. There's a lot of small mom and pop businesses that accept SNAP. And so when people don't have that money for food assistance, they're not going to those stores, and those stores lose out on that revenue.
What are some of the other impacts that you are seeing?
So the other thing we have to think about is that there's going to be the Affordable Care Act, the tax credit, that's going to expire. So people's health coverage is going to increase. And so premiums, not just people who took it on the Affordable Care Act, but also people who have it through their employer, they're going to see their premiums go up. So we're looking at food assistance, we're looking at health coverage, we're looking at all these costs going up, in addition to grocery prices and other goods that are going up because of tariffs too.
In the interim, what are some of the resources or other resources people can turn to for some of these things?
So a lot of resources that we have are, you think about food banks, we think about churches, we think about some of the states are trying to take advantage of some of their own surpluses that they have to be able to help people out. But there's not just a lot of things for people to be able to do, which is why it's important for this Congress and administration to take the necessary actions to make sure that these costs don't go up or the programs don't elapse.
Are we looking at compounding effects if the shutdown continues for very long?
Yeah, because you have federal workers who are going without paychecks, and they can only last so long. You have programs that are supposed to serve as a safety net that are not going to be there. And so as this go on further, this is going to be very difficult because we're already at the second longest shutdown that we've had in history.
Are there any other things that folks should be thinking about during this time?
I think one of the important things is that with a lot of policies, there's a lot of complexities and a lot of nuances that make it difficult to understand. But here we have a situation where there are specific actions that our government can take to ease the burden on low and moderate income families. So with SNAP, we have that contingency fund that's going to help tie things over. And with the Affordable Care Act and tax credits, you can extend those like they did with other tax credits, and that's going to help people out. So there's specific actions that people can advocate for that the government can take.
I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you for having me.
Benga Ajilore is a former senior advisor for rural development at the USDA. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, October 25th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
Beef prices continue to soar, and ranchers around the Mountain West say the Trump administration's plan to import beef from Argentina could do more harm than good. Wyoming rancher Dana Versimak heard about the news earlier this week and spoke with KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera to share her thoughts. She says overall, even though she supports President Trump, she's disappointed in the move.
So when I heard the story, I thought, we're feeding the wild horses and you're giving $20 million or $1 billion or whatever the number was to Argentina, and you're not even taking care of the problems at home. You know what I mean? And yet we're having, I mean, of course we have we're blessed. I'm not saying that, but we're very blessed to have what we have and to do what we do. But it's an attempt, I feel like, to kill the American rancher when he says he's going to do what he's doing.
For her, beef and ranching and the overall Western way of life is deeply personal. In many cases, she says ranchers are just trying to survive, and she believes that this move will only continue to hurt the ranching and farming industries.
Ranchers get by. We're survivors. We do what we have to do to make it work. But when you start importing, then any economy, why is he putting tariffs on China? To make American products better, right? Supposedly, and then that's one of his arguments towards doing that. So the same thing could be said here. You're importing beef from China or from Argentina to supposedly lower prices at the grocery store, but you're not American farmers and ranchers have been going out of business at an astronomical rate.
Versimek says she understands the need for beef, why the need for beef is so high and the supply is so low, but she says this move will only help in the short term. She says it won't result in cheaper prices in the long term because it makes it more difficult for American ranchers to expand their herds.
I'm just saying, I know we don't have enough beef. For the supply and demand is really out of whack right now, and that's been proven through Cattlenomics and a lot of economists who study markets, and particularly cow and agricultural markets, can prove that over and over again, that the supply and demand is out of whack. But it's really hard to build a herd when cow prices are up as high as they are right now. But at the same time, if they stay high, then somebody like me doesn't feel bad expanding because they'll pay for themselves. It's all relative. But if you start importing, then like this fall time of year is when a lot of ranchers get rid of their livestock, to get ready for the new crop of babies coming along. And so this is a real critical time for him to make some announcement like that to cause the limit drops and the effects that it's having on the markets.
She says she has one message for the administration: support American ranchers first.
Well, I guess if they're dishing out money to Argentina, why don't you dish some of that money out to American ranchers who want to expand to feed our own populations?
The National Cattlemen's Beef Association CEO Colin Woodall says that his organization can't stand behind the president while he, quote, undercuts the future of family farmers and ranchers. Utah House Speaker Mike Schultz is also a rancher, and he says he supports the president's plan.
President Trump is 100% right on this. And while I certainly feel and I understand the concerns inside the ranching community, and as you said, I'm one of those. And certainly this will hurt my bottom line on our ranching operation for a short period of time. But this is good for the consumer, the American citizen, and it's good for the rancher long term.
He joined Inside Sources this morning to share his thoughts. He says our cattle population is just way too low, so there's no way to keep up with the demand. He blames the left for overregulating the industry.
Cattle numbers in the U.S. are the lowest they have been since the 1950s. Think about that for just a minute. Our U.S. population in 1955 was 165 million. Today, it's 342 million. It is more than doubled, and our cattle numbers are at the same levels as they were in the 1950s. And there's a whole host of reasons as to why that is. The main reason is the left and environmentalists have been working to eliminate grazing and have been pushing regulations onto farmers and ranchers, and there's literally been a war on the agriculture community. So I understand what the agriculture community has been through and their concerns with this. However, this does stabilize beef prices long term, which is good for ranchers and it's good for Americans.
House Speaker Mike Schultz there talking about the president's beef deal with Argentina. More and more women in Utah are opting to have their babies in places other than a traditional hospital. We'll get into that after the break. But first is KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We do have the crash that has been cleared in Riverdale, westbound Riverdale Road at about 10th West. All lanes are now open, but we still have the clearing of the crash northbound on I-15 after 33rd South. It's in the final cleanup stages. Everybody out of traffic on the right shoulder. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
I'm Jenny Oaks Baker, and I invite you to Joy to the World.
It was sacred, exquisitely beautiful, and Jenny's talent on the violin is unmatched.
Featuring choirs, dancers, and my children musical group, Family 4. Plus world-renowned mezzo-soprano Angela Brower and celebrated baritone and narrator Preston Yates.
It was just like emotionally stirring. The dancers, the singers, Jenny and her family, just bringing to life the beautiful music.
Experience a Christ-centered Christmas as we proudly support Light the World.
It's so beautiful to see how they use all of their talents to just testify of the Savior.
Get your tickets for Joy to the World, a sacred celebration at JennyOaksBaker.com.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th, new Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and auto-pay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Every time I turn around, my friends at Pure Talk give me one more reason to feel good about switching. This month, for instance, they're supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat veterans struggling with PTSD. The result? They're saving lives on both ends of the leash. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. I like being in business with an American wireless company who shares my values. Yeah, I appreciate unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and I bet you will too. But I think you'll really appreciate doing business with a company who gives back to the men and women who volunteered to defend our country. Just dial pound 250, say micro. With Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team, you can switch in as little as 10 minutes. Again, dial pound 250, say micro, to switch to an American wireless company who actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We're streaming on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. The amount of women giving birth at home nearly doubled between 2017 and 2023 here in Utah, at a time when more Americans are calling mainstream medical practices and guidance into question. KSL's Inside Sources host, Holly Richardson, also happens to be a retired midwife, and she tells KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly it's not just at-home births, but births outside of hospitals more broadly that are rising.
In 2023, those are the most recent numbers we have. About 1,400 births took place at home, so it's more than 3%. We also have that many more, plus an additional percentage taking place in birth centers.
So when you were a midwife, did you do most of your work in people's homes?
Yeah, all home birth for me. Oh. So it was actually how I got involved in politics, because we worked to change the law. There was a group of us 25 years ago that started the process, and 20 years ago we were successful to legalize midwifery in the state of Utah.
Oh, I didn't know it was illegal at some point.
It had been, and it was, parents could choose, but the actual practice of midwifery was not legalized, and so we needed to change that law, and so we worked on that, and now all midwives are legal in the state.
And why do you think that in-home births or birthing centers, why do you think those rates are up now?
There's a couple of reasons. One of them has to do, I think, with sometimes the distrust of the medical community. Sometimes it really has to do with financial, because it's much cheaper to use a midwife in an out-of-hospital setting than it is to pay if you had to pay out of pocket, for example, for a hospital birth. And sometimes it is people are saying, look, I want to do what I feel like is best for me and my child, and this is the best option for me.
Do you think there's less stress in the home?
There's absolutely less stress. There's also fewer complications in many areas, and one of the reasons why is because you don't start down a process of, for example, I'm going to have an epidural, and then I might need to get Pitocin to enhance my labor, and then I might increase my chances of a C-section. Those don't happen at home because those are not options.
Holly says there are situations that necessitate a mother going to the hospital instead of remaining at home or in a birthing center, but it's not common.
Overall, we know that the transfer rate from a planned home birth is about 9%. So about 9% of people who start their labors at home planning a home birth will be transported, but most of those transports are also for pain relief and labor enhancement.
Holly says you will see research suggesting hospitals have fewer complications, but you have to look at the bigger picture.
I think one of the things that people need to understand is planned home birth with a trained midwife is just as safe as hospital birth. There's plenty of studies that show that. There are occasionally studies they'll say, well, it was riskier here, but if you look at the numbers that they're looking at, sometimes you have such a small pool of people who are at home versus the larger, much larger pool of people who are delivering in the hospital that you have to look at these bigger studies that look at the numbers more evenly.
And she says hospitals serve an important function when you need them. Enrollment in Utah Public Schools has fallen for the third year in a row. That's according to a new report from the Utah State Board of Education. Roughly 656,000 students began the school year, which is a drop of about 11,000 from last year. That's about a 1.4% decrease. Aaron Bruff is the Director of Data and Statistics at the State Board of Education. He tells KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson that the reason amounts to a decreasing population.
So the shift is really what's happening is we're graduating that large class, and that's kind of a long, an ongoing rolling group. And so we've had that increase, and those students who back in 2000, like in 2021 and so on and so forth, when we were starting to hit our peaks, those 9th, 10th, 11th grade students are now graduating out, and you're not getting as many kindergarten, first, second, and grade students coming into the system. So the system as a whole, again, talking about Utah and why we're seeing a decline, the system as a whole is there are fewer students attending or schools because there's fewer students. Our birth rate is down. Homes are expensive. Families, in the past where they would have maybe 4 to 5 families or a 4 or 5 family size, house, you're going down to maybe only 1 or 2 kids inside of there. And it's just kind of a general population shift that we're experiencing and seeing here in Utah.
Although there are increasing options and enrollments for alternative schooling, Bruff says those aren't the only things contributing to the public school enrollment decline.
They're not going other places. There are just fewer kids to feed into the system. Now, with that said, and we don't track these, there is private school. There is the Utah Fits All Scholarship, where individuals can come up and request to get that scholarship. We're not seeing that is the huge impact. It is a population change in Utah that I think is really driving this.
And it's not just Utah either. A release from the Utah State Board of Education says this trend is reflective of a larger demographic shift nationwide. It's 2:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. The NBA community reacting to more than 24 arrests within the league over allegations of illegal sports gambling and fraud. New data showing just how much of a body image problem exists here in Utah. And KSL traffic. Ricky, any trouble spots?
We have trouble in traffic in Tooele County on SR 36 Main Street at Village Boulevard. Maria?
And the forecast looks great for the next few days, all the way through Saturday for all those football games you may be attending on Saturday, a high of 70. And that chance of rain pretty much disappeared, but it's now moved on to Sunday, now a 50% chance of rain. KSL's top local stories in 1 minute.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. It's the third day of the NBA season, and the coach of the Portland Trailblazers, Chauncey Billups, is under arrest. So is Miami Heat player Terry Rozier. There are more of 30 people arrested in a federal gambling sting involving unlawful betting and fixed poker games. This comes as legalized gambling has surged in popularity, but federal prosecutor Joseph Nacella said today,
the sports books themselves are victims in this case. They themselves did not But as far as our investigation is concluded, they did not perpetrate anything unlawful.
Billups and Rozier are on leave. President Trump said he is not sending federal troops to San Francisco this weekend after he spoke with the city's mayor. American ranchers say they aren't happy. The president's committed to buy more beef from Argentina. The White House says the president wants to increase supply to lower prices, and the Senate did not advance a bill that would have paid some federal workers during the shutdown. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. The drought across much of Utah continues, but it's not as severe as it was, even in the southeastern portion of the state.
2 weeks ago, most of the southeastern corner of Utah was in moderate to severe drought, while now there are parts of San Juan County listed as just abnormally dry.
We've had 2 tropical systems bring moisture across the region, so we had remnants from Tropical Storm Priscilla, and then shortly after that we had remnants from Tropical Storm Raymond.
Aaron Walter with the National Weather Service says even though parts of the Four Corners area saw significant improvement with these 2 storms, more severe drought conditions can return without continued moisture coming into the area. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Utah is leading the world in remote-generated cloud seeding, something the state says shows their investment is paying off. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis has more.
State engineers say they have seen huge achievements in the last year, including creating the world's largest remote-operated cloud seeding program. The program relies on generators that usually have to be manually turned on, but now the state has 120 remote ones with another 70 planned for next year.
The state is also working on a drone program for their cloud seeding projects. Utah's measles count may be higher than originally thought if you include cases from just across the state line between Hilldale, Utah, and Colorado City, Arizona. Combined, that area has at least 123 confirmed cases and counting. The number of people giving birth at home instead of a hospital is rising in Utah. It's now nearly 4% of all Utah births. Former midwife and KSL Inside Sources co-host Holly Richardson says this is a big turnaround.
In 2023, those are the most recent numbers we have. About 1,400 births took place at home. So it's more than 3%. We also have that many more plus an additional percentage taking place in birth centers.
She says only about 9% of planned home births wind up becoming hospital births. And taking a look at your money at this moment at the close, the Dow up 144 points, more than 0.25%, sitting at 46,734, making up for some of yesterday's losses. S&P 500 up by 39, and the NASDAQ up by nearly a full percent, up 201 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
County, we do have a crash that's been causing delays because it's blocking traffic. This is on Main Street, SR 36 on the southbound side near Bates Canyon Road at Stansbury Park. If you're traveling any of the Valley freeways, though, you are good to go. It's time to try UTA. Less stress, no traffic, and more U-time. Plan your trip at rideuta.com. Ricky Meeson, the KSL Traffic Center.
Nice fall weather for the next few days with highs in the 60s up to 70 by Saturday, but a big change coming on Sunday, where the high will be 56, and there is a 50% chance of showers. Right now, 63 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Join Mike Stevens of Capital Wealth Advisors for Retire Right Radio, Saturdays at 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. That's Retire Right Radio with Mike Stevens, Saturdays at 5 a.m. and 9 p.m.
Hey guys, it's Woodrow from Mint Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with ED? Well, you are not alone, and now there's a real solution that treats the root cause, not just the symptoms. Introducing our trifecta approach, a breakthrough combination of acoustic wave therapy, hormone replacement, and cryotherapy, all designed to restore blood flow, boost performance, and rebalance your hormones. Whether it's ED or hormonal imbalance, if you're ready to reignite your love life, this treatment helps bring back your energy, your drive, and your confidence. And right now, when you call, you'll receive a free consultation, a blood flow ultrasound, and an intimacy gift. That's a $650 value, absolutely free. And here's the bonus. The next 20 callers will also receive a 5-night stay at a luxury resort in Hawaii just for taking the first step. But you must call now. With 2 convenient locations in Layton and Sandy, help is closer than you think. Call 801-804-8000 now. That's 801-804-8000. Mint Medical Clinic. We'll get you back to mint condition.
Hi, this is Doug Ryden. For years, I've been telling you about products I truly believe in and that we use in our home. And one is Kinetico. We all know the downsides of hard water, tough on home appliances, frustrating spots on shower doors, but it also affects your personality. When you shower, does the water feel invigorating? Hard water can leave your skin feeling sticky and itchy. A Kinetico soft water system changes everything. It's like having a luxurious spa experience when you shower, making your daily routine something you look forward to. Kinetico, it's a difference you can feel. Their patented system uses far less salt than competitors, and they're exclusively focused on water softeners. They're the experts in their field, and they'll show you the difference for free with no obligation to buy. Call Kinetico Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer, at 801-576-8600, or check them out online at softwaterutah.com. Start enjoying your water. Spoil yourself every day.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The NBA rocked today after several current and former players and coaches were arrested for their alleged involvement in a sports gambling scheme. It comes after a federal gambling probe involving the mafia. News Nation's Ryan Bass reports those involved include current and former members of the NBA.
Agents unveiling Operation Royal Flush and Nothing But Net. That was a years-long investigation uncovering alleged gambling and money laundering schemes that stretched from NBA locker rooms to organized crime families. Federal investigators say that this years-long probe uncovered not one but two major criminal operations: rigged poker games backed by mafia families and an insider NBA betting ring.
Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups and Miami head guard Terry Rozier, Miami Heat guard, I should say, Terry Rozier were among those arrested. Rozier was previously under investigation for unusual betting activity during his time with the Charlotte Hornets. Joseph Nichella, the interim U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of New York, says the defendants would lure victims into rigged poker games for a chance to play with sports celebrities.
These defendants, which include former professional athletes, used high-tech cheating technology to steal millions of dollars from victims in underground poker games that were secretly fixed. The games in the New York area were backed by the Bonanno, Gambino, and Genovese crime families of La Cosa Nostra.
KSL legal analyst Greg Skorda spoke on Inside Sources this morning, sharing an example of how this scheme took place.
I was reading part of the indictment. In one specific instance, a player, who's also one of the named people here, was supposed to, you could bet on whether he would score 20 points or not.
Sure.
Because that was his average. You could bet on the over or the under.
Right.
And he told people before the game, I'm going to take myself out. In other words, bet on the under. I'm not going to hit my 20. Or he wasn't even going to play at all. So that he could control that, and people would have that inside information, and they'd say, I'm going to bet that player X doesn't score 20 today. I'll put $10,000 on that.
Wow.
And he takes himself out of the game after he gets 18 or 15 or whatever.
Right.
And all of a sudden you win the bet.
The NBA saying they are in the process of reviewing the federal indictments and that current players and coaches accused of illegal conduct have now been placed on immediate leave. Last hour, I spoke with KSL Sports Jazz insider Ben Anderson for his perspective on what this whole situation tells fans, especially since these players and coaches already make so much money.
This is a weird gray area that the NBA and really all professional sports have been willing to delve into now, where, growing up for me, the league I watched, nobody dared talk about gambling. They certainly didn't have gambling sponsorships. And now teams are racing to get as much gambling as they can involved because there's so much money. So, there are arenas that want to be built that are half casino, half basketball arena. We've just blurred those lines so significantly that I think some of these issues were essentially inevitable. And it's certainly a black eye, and it's certainly something the NBA, the NFL, the NHL, Major League Baseball, they're going to have to explore how to kind of draw a line there that allows them to still make as much money as they are through gambling, which everybody wants a piece of, but doesn't include their players, because so far we've seen the NFL players get involved. NFL players aren't supposed to gamble of any kind when it comes to sports. Major League Baseball players have been banned for apparently throwing bad pitches, and now several NBA players.
Ben Anderson is the Jazz insider for KSL Sports. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done, with precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way, with a dedication to lasting quality, trusted performance, and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Continuing with other sports news, musician Bad Bunny will stay on as the halftime performer at the upcoming Super Bowl. This despite a growing discussion online among conservative communities. Brad Milkey has more on the controversy in this episode of the Start Here podcast.
Bad Bunny, for those who don't know, is known as the king of Latin trap music. The rapper and singer from Puerto Rico rose to prominence with songs like Cardi B's I Like It and his own DTMF, a song about how he wished he had taken more photos of Puerto Rico before Hurricane Maria brought destruction and gentrification. He's since become one of the most popular entertainers in the world, but the vast majority of his lyrics are in Spanish, and a ton of his fans are outside the mainland U.S. And the choice to have him perform at the Super Bowl immediately set off a wave of criticism among American conservatives.
Can we not just get a country halftime show? Bad Bunny?
Hey NFL, do you even know your audience?
These critiques ran the gamut from I don't really like this guy's music to I don't speak Spanish to why don't they have an American perform? Puerto Rico, of course, is an American territory. Bad Bunny is an American citizen. Well, yesterday, in an anticipated press conference, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell came out and said, complain all you want. Bad Bunny stays.
He's one of the leading and most popular entertainers in the world.
Goodell expressed no signs of reconsidering. At one point he said, quote, this was carefully thought through, end quote. And to me, that seems like a key line. The NFL is extremely conscious of its image, extremely deliberate. When sideline protests threatened to politicize the league years ago, Goodell told players they would be penalized for refusing to stand, then reversed that decision after the death of George Floyd. Goodell wants to appeal to as large of an audience as humanly possible, which clearly in his eyes means appealing to Spanish speakers. But there was also an implicit warning to Bad Bunny here.
He understands the platform that he's on, and I think it's going to be exciting and a united moment.
This has the ability to be a tenuous moment. After all, it's not just grassroots conservatives complaining here. President Trump has weighed in on Newsmax.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
Meanwhile, Bad Bunny has made no secret about his feelings for the Trump White House. He's declined to perform in the U.S. lately, citing concern that immigration agents could show up and inspect his Latino fans. He's joked that critics have 4 months to learn Spanish if they want to understand his songs like Baile Inolvidable or Unforgettable Dance. That led Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to say she plans a heavy ICE deployment around the Super Bowl, despite the fact that migrants and criminals rarely attend one of the most expensive sporting events on Earth. The late Charlie Kirk's organization, Turning Point USA, says it's planning its own halftime show with counter-programming. But if money does indeed talk, the NFL seems to be making it clear it will take Usher and Kendrick Lamar and Bad Bunny every time. It's popular music, it's American music. And as any artist knows, being loud doesn't necessarily guarantee anyone's listening.
Brad Milkey there on the Start Here podcast. And speaking of sports, make sure you stick with KSL News Radio all this week as we preview the BYU game this Saturday against Iowa State. Tonight and tomorrow night, listen to Cougar Tracks at 6:30. Then on Saturday, special extended pregame coverage airs from 10 to 11:30. That's sponsored by the New Millennium Group. And of course, make sure you are subscribed to BYU Sports Updates. Just text BYU to 57500. KSL News Radio, your legacy home of the BYU Cougars. A new report from the Utah Women in Leadership Project shows that social media pressures, family and peer modeling, and religious expectations are contributing to widespread body image issues in Utah. Dr. Susan Madsen, director of the Utah Women and Leadership Project, says the data is scant, but Utah women are among the most interested in cosmetic procedures to keep up.
Even though the procedural data are limited, our state ranks still high in interest in cosmetic procedures. In fact, we still lead the nation in Google searches for breast augmentation and, quote, boob jobs, and are among the top 10 for other procedures. And we rank 10th in terms of the number of surgeons who are available in the state to do cosmetic surgery. So those are a couple of the data points that we have. We wish we had other pure data, but what we know is we may not be the top, we're not sure in terms of the most cosmetic surgery, but we are still in probably the top 10 states for the most cosmetic surgery, but definitely for searches and interest in plastic surgery and cosmetic surgery.
What does this say about Utah women and body image?
Well, it's interesting because part of the report, we look at pressures for women to look good. And we know across the nation, across the world, more girls from social media, more young women and women are concerned even more than they used to about their looks and body image. So social media is really challenging for girls. In fact, one of the things that was striking that we found is that 96% nationally of girls ages 14 to 19 report cyberbullying about their appearance, and 92% have considered actually making changes, whether it's dieting or exercising or cosmetic procedures. So to me, that's worrisome that we have that, and we don't have exact Utah data on that, but we know that we're in the ballpark of all of these. So that means that over 90% of our young women have been cyberbullied about their appearance, which means they're looking at how they can fix, how they can change.
Dr. Madsen says it's critical for parents, influencers, and communities as a whole to avoid focusing too much on looks. You often hear about all the negatives of artificial intelligence, but are there benefits of using AI? After the break, a look at some of the ways AI is helping with energy conservation. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We have a crash causing delays southbound I-15 4500 south, blocking the HOV lane, backing traffic into South Salt Lake. Titanic, the exhibition, opens October 17th at the Shops at Southtown. Step aboard to experience full-scale recreations, see artifacts, and hear real passenger stories. Don't miss it. Book passage today at the TitanicExhibition.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-549-8866. 800-549-8866. 800-549-8866.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Artificial intelligence has fueled concerns over the tremendous amount of water and electricity needed by data centers to power AI. But a report by the Associated Press shows that scientists are looking at ways to minimize those concerns by experimenting with ways that AI can help people more efficiently use energy and pollute less. Now, they claim that if AI is used to analyze energy usage and pollution, it could offset the energy consumed by AI. I turn to the director of the Center for National Security Studies at Utah Valley University, Brandon Amaker, for his perspective.
Whenever there's a major kind of disruption to the technological ecosystem, it can be really hard to tell. If the closest kind of analog that we have to what's going on right now is probably the Industrial Revolution. And, back then, it made a lot of things more efficient. It improved the quality of life for people in many ways, but also there were unforeseen circumstances with, environmental issues, pollution, that type of thing that people didn't really see coming. Now, the thing that's different about kind of this AI revolution is that the systems that we're building, which are going to be consumers of resources, are also able to be repurposed in order to help us conserve resources. So kind of seeing how that will play out in terms of, all right, well, what will the net effect be, right? We know that these data centers are going to consume a lot of water. We know that they're going to consume a lot of energy, but will that intellectual and analytical benefit that we extract from these data centers pointed at the problem of consumption actually yield a more beneficial result, right? Will it be a net saver or will it be a net consumer? And I think that's kind of the debate that's going on right now. And it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, it was interesting. This article says, you know what, it can help us save energy by giving us information about how we are using certain things like our thermostats, that type of thing, and how we're using the charging station when we're charging our cars.
Right.
So I thought it was just really interesting that they would take this different perspective and say, hey, we're always saying here are the negatives, but there are some positives that can come from this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think trying to get out in front of some of these issues is fairly important. Meaning, I think that sometimes when we talk about technological development, the two most loud kind of crowds will be people who are hyper optimistic and people who are very pessimistic about the technology. And I think understanding that in reality, the impact will always be somewhere in the middle. There will be great benefits that come from adopting new technologies, and there's also going to be some negative consequences, and many of which we may not even foresee right now, that we'll need to be prepared to deal with when they arise. But I think approaching that from the perspective of, hey, we understand there will be consequences. How can we maybe try to repurpose some of this functionality that we're going to get in order to mitigate the worst, possible outcomes that could result from this development or this adoption?
Right. I thought it was funny. One of the things that they mentioned is traffic lights. I mean, and how long we sit idling at traffic lights and how AI could help with that as well.
Yeah. Hey, if it cuts down my commute to Orem, I'm all for that.
Besides monitoring traffic signals and energy consumption, AI could be used to reduce methane flaring from oil and gas operations. Methane is a powerful greenhouse gas responsible for about 30% of today's global warming. Skiers could ski right through some art exhibits at Powder Mountain this winter. The resort is launching a new outdoor art exhibit, basically an outdoor ski-through museum. Ashton Stronks is the communications director at Powder Mountain.
The Powder Art Foundation was established in 2024 as a nonprofit organization, a 501c3 here in Utah. And the intent is really to celebrate the legacy of land art in the region and also support the vision of artists by commissioning works on Powder Mountain. So we have over 12,000 acres of terrain on Powder Mountain, and Powder Art Foundation invites artists and collects work that's large-scale sculpture and land artworks to display on the mountain. So while it was established in 2024, this is our first real season of unveiling kind of the first phase of artworks on the mountain. So we have some new installations by a handful of artists, as well as some existing works that have been installed over the past few years.
Stronks tells KSL News Radio's Isabella Sosa that this has been a passion project for the new ownership.
Powder had a new owner, Reed Hastings, come on board. He acquired the mountain in 2023. And in the process of asking and learning about what we could do to make Powder kind of a distinct year-round experience for various folks, he was talking to our Chief Creative Officer, Alex Zhang, and they both kind of devised this vision to bring these large-scale artworks to the mountain. The idea is to blend elements of recreation and nature and art all in one place. So, some people might seek out the artworks, others might happen upon them if they're out skiing or snowboarding or maybe hiking on the mountain. So it's really introducing this kind of element of discovery and magic to the mountain terrain.
You'll need a lift ticket to see the artwork this winter after the resort opens on December 13th, but that'll change next summer. I don't know about you, Jeff, but if I was skiing, I might ski into the artwork. I'm not sure this would be a good thing for me.
Okay, you have to learn how to brake, clearly.
Okay.
You just put the front of the skis
yeah, I know.
toward each other.
Yeah, when
right?
you're going real fast, it doesn't work as well as it should.
True.
Jeff Kaplan is here. Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News is next.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon, 3 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Kaplan. We're at 63 degrees. KSL's top story, a scandal in the NBA.